Right, Daragh, you ready to go? Daragh? Daragh! Oh, for God's sake. Alright, you want to sleep?
I want to do flips and 450s and pile drivers.
Will you wake up?
What? Where am I?
We have a show. Daragh, pay attention. We have a show to do.
Oh, Dave, what are you doing in my room?
For God's sake. Let's start the show.
The face that runs the place.
Long live living.
Goodbye and good night.
Have you had your morning coffee yet?
No, but I see you made one, and you haven't offered me one yet. Thank you for that. I just woke up.
Every time I go out for a coffee before we do this, I always I didn't ask you this time, I suppose.
No, you didn't.
I want the impression.
I would have liked the coffee, Dave.
Do you want my coffee?
No, you don't make coffee the way I make my coffee.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Afternoon, folks. Welcome to another edition of the Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guide, right here on 90.3 in your FM on the EMC Podcast Network and on all good podcasting providers. I'm Dave Cullen, and I'm joined by the Louisiana Commissioner of Pro Wrestling Safety, Daragh Maher. Now, Daragh, how are you this afternoon? You must be a man who,
other than tired than having to deal with all those angry tweets by wrestling fans saying that their favourite wrestler can't do flips and stuff. Well, tough.
Firm on you, aren't you?
Right? I'm going to make sure that all my athletes are safe throughout this. And safety is the number one word here. It's the most important. You know what's badass in this world?
What is badass in this world?
Safety. Staying alive, Dave. Staying alive. If I had the Bee Gees right now, I'd be playing it right now.
You were literally, you know who you remind me of? Have you ever seen the character of, I don't know what his name was, but he was a producer of TNN when ECW did the show for that company, and he deliberately would stop a segment because he didn't like because the company didn't like it.
Oh, I remember that guy. Yeah. Glasses, wasn't it? Sue.
Don Callis.
Was it?
That was Don Callis.
Was it actually Don Callis?
That was Don Callis.
Oh, I didn't know that.
As I said, my coffee here. But no, like it's.
I'll go back to sleep. I don't mind.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is it's a similar gimmick. Safety first.
Safety first. It's not a gimmick.
It could be.
It's not a gimmick. Safety is not a gimmick.
It could be.
Right? Safety is not. Staying alive is not a gimmick. Okay, Dave? It's very important. Everybody that has good, wholesome fun, and they get to go home.
Yeah.
Dave, everyone's got to go home in the end.
Yeah. Everyone goes home. Well, at least go home in their own power, as opposed to...
No, go home straight after the show.
Yeah, no ambulances or anything like that.
No. I'm so confident that I don't even need an ambulance at it because they're going to follow my safety rules. Well, especially Joey Janela.
Accidents happen.
Not on my watch.
We'll see.
Not on my watch.
You're going to be a busy man in 2 weeks. That's the case. Anyway, we're coming to you from Near FM Studios in the beautiful North Dublin village of Coolock, and we'll be here giving you all the latest news, results, previous rumours and more from the world of professional wrestling. We'll be viewing all the past week's action from New Japan Pro Wrestling's Strong Style Evolved and WWE. We'll be previewing events coming up from the likes of OTT, Low Blows and Pro Wrestling Ulster, and we'll also listen back to an interview we did with top Irish wrestling prospect Darren Kearney. All that to come, but first we're going to start as always with the news.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Also, good news, everyone!
We'll start with news concerning New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, on the back of Strong Style Evolved, they will be debuting at another legendary pro wrestling venue in California later this year, where they confirmed they'll be holding a show at the legendary Cow Palace in San Francisco on Saturday, July 7th. The show will be called a G1 Special, which was the name of the two New Japan Pro Wrestling events at Long Beach last summer. Fighting Spirit Unleashed appeared as the tagline for it. Dave Meltzer earlier reported this month that New Japan Pro Wrestling had a preliminary hold on the July 7th date at the Cow Palace. He also noted that the listed capacity for pro wrestling is more than 14,000 people. This year's G1 Climax tournament will begin at Ota Ward's Gymnasium in Tokyo on July 14th. Interestingly, WWE and the UFC will be both having shows on July 7th as well, with WWE having a house show at Madison Square Garden featuring Ronda Rousey, while the UFC will have Stipe Miocic defending his heavyweight title against Daniel Cormier at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. So it's interesting, like, they're competing against all these dates, but more importantly, like, it seems like New Japan could be beating the guys from All In straight away if they're going for Cow Palace.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think the WWE show matters too much because that's on the other side of the country.
Plus it's a house show.
And
anyway.
it's a house show as well. Whether or not Ronda Rousey's making her debut at Madison Square Garden, it doesn't really matter. People are still going to go to New Japan, I think, because if they are local to it.
Certainly, it attracts two sides. Like in the day, like people from the east side of America can just go to that Madison Square Garden show. People from the west.
I think it's going to be a good indication as well for even the guys at All In to see how this sells in a relatively short space of time as well, because the guys have till September to sort of sell out their 10,000 seater stadium or show. It's New Japan are giving themselves a shorter space of time for a 14,000 seater arena, but it is like they wouldn't be doing this if they weren't confident that they were going to get the tickets, especially because at the Pyramid, was it the Walter Pyramid it's called, isn't it?
Yeah.
This past week the tickets were gone in 15 minutes.
Exactly, so it was very popular.
So it's a couple of thousand, isn't it, that seater arena? I'm not too sure.
I'm not sure myself.
I'm not too familiar. I'm guessing it's a couple of thousand maybe. I wouldn't say any more than maybe 2-3.
I'll tell you if I knew it's put that way.
Yeah.
It's about 2,000. It's similar to National Stadium, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
It just looks bigger. It just looks more intimidating with the big pyramid above it. But it's interesting to see the Stipe Miocic and Daniel Cormier fight in Las Vegas. Also, I don't think matters so much because it's a different sort of.
It's a different type of crowd.
It's a different type of crowd, exactly. And Vegas is sort of far enough from California as well. Like, so, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. Is it going? It's only going to be a 1-day show. It's not going to be 2 nights like it was last year.
They've only confirmed 1 date, so. Yeah. It says here the Pyramid is 8,000 seats.
8,000?
Now I'm not sure if there
it
was.
Didn't look like that.
Well, I don't know if they had that many people there. I didn't get the exact attendance as such, but
8,000 is a lot.
I'll just double check. Like, 'cause I'm not sure, I could be wrong, but like they haven't got
we
figures.
Were way off. If that's the case.
Well off.
Way off.
Let's see. The 4,372. That's twice.
Was that it?
Yeah, it's double the number of the National Stadium. So we're well off there. Yeah.
Yeah. Closer than we were. That's okay. But yeah, so. We'll see how it goes. I wish they'd come here instead, but look.
New Japan. Well, there's rumours that they could be coming to the UK as well around the same time.
If they go to the UK, we're going.
To Manchester and Milton Keynes.
Yeah, if they go to the UK, we're going.
Yeah, for sure. Can't see why not. See why not. Because I think it's good. Like, I think, like, when you think about it, I think when you look at the way New Japan do shows, especially when they collaborate with other promotions like Ring of Honor in America and Revolution Pro Wrestling in the UK, maybe they're seeing how much of their fan base is going.
True, and I think, like you were saying, like with the guys coming to OTT as well, I think Scrappermania is going to be a very important date, because if Ishii and Suzuki go back from there, seeing that the crowd was really hot in Dublin, I could persuade the guys to think, okay, let's go to Europe.
Well, that's a long stretch when you consider like what the work they've been doing in the likes of England, because you have to understand they've been doing collaborations with them for probably years now, just to be sure that like it's a good place for them to sell tickets. Like they're taking the long term approach. If that's the case, it could be years before they ever have a show in Ireland. There's every chance,
not even Ireland,
now,
but like
straight away.
The UK as well.
Yeah.
You know,
what I'm saying is more of a chance in the UK because they have.
Of course. They have
that research.
They have the population as well. They have the bigger fan base for sure.
Indeed. Anyway, exciting times. All the same. We'll move on anyway. Some concerning news concerning Shane McMahon this week.
Yes, roughly 2 weeks before he was expected to feature in a match at this year's WrestleMania, Shane McMahon finds his immediate wrestling future in doubt as he is recovering from a bout of acute diver. Now, I've been trying this before the show, and I'm going to get this right.
Okay, go for it.
Diverticulitis.
That's exactly what it is.
There we go. And you ubiblical hernia in a New York area medical facility. This is legitimate and not part of the storyline currently going on that saw Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn fired for their attack on him after he stepped down as commissioner a couple of weeks ago. According to a story on WWE.com, McMahon developed a massive infection and a hernia due to acute diverticulitis while vacationing with his family in the Caribbean. Was hospitalized in Antigua for several days. They said that he is currently being treated with heavy doses of antibiotics and that the hernia will require surgery once the infection is cleared. This obviously puts the expected McMahon Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn, I should say, WrestleMania match in limbo, but the organisation will likely have to put Plan B in motion starting Tuesday, well, less than 2 weeks ago before the show. Of course, WWE Universal Champion Brock Lesnar famously dealt with diverticulitis during his UFC run, causing him to retire. He had part of his colon removed and changed his diet, eventually returning to both WWE and the UFC.
Now, the thing is as well, because we've seen how Brock Lesnar has dealt with it and how serious his condition was, is you only feared the worst for Shane.
He was dealing with it for like a couple of years though as well. You're expecting Shane to be a couple of weeks.
Yeah, the thing is though, Brock didn't even know he had it. Like he basically had diverticulitis like when he won the championship, but he didn't realise it until it was really starting to affect him. That's how much of a beast Brock is.
Yeah. It does, like the news story says, it puts a lot of doubt into.
Now that said, he's been released from the hospital now, as far as I'm aware now. So I think is
he? You sure?
Well, that's from last report. So basically, they wouldn't have mentioned that match at SmackDown. We'll get onto it shortly. If they
did seem to double down, didn't they, on it? All right.
Well,
this could have been the thing where who was it? It was Daniel Bryan doing the promo. He could have said that, okay, so listen, this may not happen, but I have a plan B. But no, they double down.
The point is they did mention the match, but interesting enough, they haven't advertised it yet. At least I've seen yet. But but at the same time,
they have advertised it.
Oh, they have. Well, then
they have advertised.
Well, I think they're going with the plan A until the very last minute. Then, if that's the case,
but. Oh no, we'll get into it further in the show anyway.
Yeah, but
or do you want to talk about it? Who would be Plan B?
That's a good question, because there's so many. That's a really good question. This was a handicap match, but that's kind of
you won't put Bryan in a handicap match,
especially his first match back. Yeah. God, I don't know. El Generico.
I still think them.
He was active again on Twitter, by the way. I don't know
there
if you've
is,
seen that.
yeah. I don't know. There was rumours Neville.
That's a good call.
Because all four of them did have a relationship outside WWE and all.
Yeah, so there's a bit of background with that. Like, but what's the story with him and his dealings at the moment? So
I don't know.
They
a couple of weeks ago, there was reports going around that they had a deal in place.
Okay.
And he was going to come back, but we haven't heard anything since.
Yeah, I presume not as a cruiserweight anymore, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's too good for that. Like, as we talked about before, but like, then again, like 205 is in a great run at the moment.
What if? I have an idea.
Go for it.
What if this is the reason why we haven't seen Taker appear yet?
Taker and Daniel Bryan?
No, John Cena and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, it's not a bad call, actually.
Yeah, they are brothers-in-law.
What about Kane? Team Hell No reunites?
No, I wouldn't think so. I don't know. Like, I'm only thinking John Cena is because like they haven't done anything with Taker and hasn't shown like Taker's going to do anything.
It's so strange that
maybe the plan was for Taker to come out this week before Shane got sick.
Maybe. Well, they're clearly keeping their cards close to their chest, or definitely making sure that they're not releasing that in the last minute. But my God, if that's a plan B, that's a hell of a plan B.
Yeah, so it could be Daniel Bryan and John Cena.
But does that spoil then Taker and Cena then?
I don't know. Maybe Taker didn't want to do it anyway.
Yeah, would you rather a tag match instead?
I don't know.
Against someone like a Kevin Owens and a Sami Zayn?
But just only because the finish of Taker's career last year was so perfect. I don't want to see that ruined.
Well, clearly Undertaker doesn't want to see it ruined by the sound of things. Yeah. It's interesting. We'll have to see what happens.
I don't think so. I think that... Look, the reports are that WWE cameras are following Taker around at the moment because they're filming a 24 documentary series.
Is that right?
So I think the Cena match with him is happening.
Yeah, that's happening.
But this was just like the fantasy booker inside me that was going.
Personally, I hope everything goes ahead. I actually
Team Hell No would be class though.
It's a good call, isn't it?
Yeah, Team Hell No would be class.
It's a quick, but it's it's legitimate.
Would they change the name to Team Hell Yes though?
Nah, I stick to Hell No. Like they started with negativity and they turned positive. So
okay.
Yeah, so I'd go with that anyway. Let's move on in the meantime. Going back to New Japan, the full card for New Japan Pro Wrestling's Secure Genesis event has been revealed, featuring a number of title matches and a couple of matches where members of the Bullet Club are set to face off against each other. After defeating the Young Bucks at Strong Style Evolved, which we'll be talking about shortly, Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi will take on Cody Rhodes and Hangman Page in the semi-main event, Secure Genesis, with the show taking place just days before Ring of Honor's Supercard of Honor. The tension between Cody and Omega is sure to be at a focal point of the match. Bullet Club tensions will also flare up as the Young Bucks take on Chase Owens and Yujiro Takahashi in the opener. In addition to that, Kazuchika Okada will defend the IWGP Heavyweight Championship against Zack Sabre Jr., while Ospreay is defending the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title against Marty Scurll. El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru will defend the Junior Tag Team titles against Roppongi 3K and Hiromu Takahashi and Bushi in a triple threat match, and Tamatonga, Tongaloa and Badlock Fale will defend their Never Six-Man Tag Team titles against Toga Makabe, Michael Elgin and Musaga Taguchi. And before Secure Genesis, New Japan World will also have a Road 2 show on March 30th, which will feature the return of Evil after a broken orbital bone. He'll team up with the rest of Los Ingobernables de Japan, Takahashi, Bushi, Sanada and Susuya Naito to take on the Suzuki Gun continent of Desperado, Keimaru, Davey Boy Smith Jr., Lance Archer and Minoru Suzuki. A tag team match featuring Okada and Yoshihashi squaring off against Sabre and Taichi will headline that as well. So there's definitely some intriguing matches coming up. Like a lot of that was set up from the Strong Style Evolved, which we'll talk about in depth later on. But in particular, I'm intrigued to see Ospreay and Skrull back again, because he's gone on records, Ospreay, saying that he's kind of the only person he hasn't yet to beat one-on-one. He's the one. Skrull is always the one that takes the title away from Ospreay. He's basically his boogeyman. Yeah, his bogeyman. There's also another match there that wasn't in the report that was announced at the Strong Style event too. Dave Finlay against. You're right, against Switchblade for the US title. Is that on Secure Genesis? Yeah. I missed that one. Sorry, you're right. Yeah. That's an interesting one because they go back years. They were young boys together, like so. They used to be tag team partners. Indeed, yeah. So it's definitely an intriguing match. So it's interesting to see the side of David Finlay as well, because we haven't really seen him. He's been in the back of the. He's been around, but he's been like featured in a lot of tag team matches and stuff like that. And to his credit, performing very well. Like him and Ricochet made a very good tag team. Him and Taguchi, I think, tag teamed together as well. So, and he's always held his own. He's always a very good performer. Yeah. I'd love to see him make an appearance like more outside of Japan. Like, he probably has his reasons to say, we don't know. But all the same, it's it's definitely an intriguing match considering the history, which is good because, and that's a good call in Japan's case, because they're looking at all this and they're trying to create the best matches possible. And imagine if they were young boys together, they probably know each other like the back of their hands, which would make a good match. They should put on a really good match as well. Yep. But all the matches there should be really good. It's good to see Evil coming back as well on the Road to show. More Bullet Club versus Bullet Club matches, as we saw. Apparently Bullet Club are fine. Apparently Bullet Club are fine. If you're to ask Cody and Brandy, they're fine. Yeah. Ask anyone else, probably not. Probably wouldn't agree. It's such a good storyline though, because I've said it before and I'll say it again, and probably every other person who could listen to this would agree with us that this is probably the best storyline in wrestling right now. Easily. That's what I think anyway. You disagree? The best storyline in wrestling right now. I can't think of a better one right now. For the fact that it's on so many different levels, yes. That's affecting so many different people involved in it, yeah. Yeah, it's broad. It's not like two people who can't stand each other or anything like that. It does stem from that. It does that, but it affects everybody else. More to the point, and it's creating tensions with everybody else. There's now this possible tension between the Young Bucks, because here's Cody trying to encourage them both to go on singles runs and saying, "Oh, you're the Shawn Michaels of this bunch" and stuff like that. Like so. Why don't I have the feeling that Cody's just going to come out and just obviously say that he was working for a different faction and he wanted to ruin the Bullet Club, ruin it from the inside? You'd think that the way he's acting, wouldn't you? Yeah. Or he just legitimately just wants Bullet Club to himself, and He wants it his way, and anyone who doubts him, like, you know, because even there's doubts in between some people. Like, I think it was Nick Jackson. Nick Jackson's one with the bandana, I believe, or who wears the bandana most of the time. Who seems to not trust him. But here's Matt Jackson. He seems to be warming to him more, especially in the back of. Well, again, if you've seen that main event, like Matt Jackson was an angry man, like more wounded angry man because he had a bad back, but still, like, so it's intriguing to see like where it'll all go. But like even so, like this match will add more fuel to the fire, especially going into Ring of Honor, their show coming up as well. So, you know, another thing about Okada and Sabre Jr. Like Sabre Jr. Like I wouldn't like this. Now this match is very important to Okada because if he wins this, he will equal the record for title defenses by New Japan Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. Yeah. So and if he wins the next one, he'll break it. So this one is to equal the records held by his rival Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Yeah, I think he will win, but you can probably bet if we were to play commentator bingo, the end of the match would be this was his toughest test.
Probably could easily be because you get the impression now that he's been champion so long that he's taken a beating from being champion, stuff like that. The interesting thing is, if he defends, who will be the guy he'll face to break it?
We all thought Kenny was going to be the guy.
I'd love him to face Tanahashi, simply because it's against the guy to beat his records. It makes sense.
Yeah. It would have been better for, instead of Sabre Jr. facing him, it would have been better for Tanahashi to face him with that one. Yeah. Just for storyline wise, it would have made sense.
Yeah, but it could make just as much sense as well to stop him from breaking it. Because they're rivals, and maybe it makes more sense for him to equal the record as opposed to break it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True. But the next one, you're right. Oh, sorry, excuse me. I guess I'm still tired. Stop, no, don't play that music again.
Don't tempt me.
But yeah, I guess then you're right. Then for the record-breaking defense, it would have to probably be against Tanahashi.
Yeah.
But then who's going to be the one to take it off him?
That's a good question. That's a great question. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure about Okada, to be honest with you, or Omega, I should say, because of his time with the Bullet Club at the moment. Straight away, I'd say Naito. Like, he's not much involved in much at the moment. Doesn't mean he can't get back into the fold.
Yeah, they might just keeping him just under the boil at the moment.
Maybe saving him for Dominion, maybe.
Probably, I'm guessing. Yeah,
could easily be. We'll move on. Some very good news from Mr. and Mrs. Miz.
Exactly, yes. Mike and Maurice Mizanin? Mizanin?
Yeah.
Is it? Mizanin. I can never get it right. The Miz, Mr. Miz and Mrs. Miz. How about that?
Miz and Maurice.
Just Miz and Maurice, yeah. Anyway, let's just get on to the story. Miz and Maurice are now parents of a healthy baby girl. The Miz announced on Wednesday afternoon on Instagram that his wife Maurice gave birth to Monroe Skies Mizarian on March 27th at 11:40 p.m. WWE congratulated them on the birth not too long after the Miz's announcement. Baby weighed in at 7 pounds 5 ounces. The WWE.com article mentioned that both mother and daughter are resting comfortably. Maurice announced publicly that she was pregnant back on the September 11, 2017 edition of Monday Night Raw. Normally managing her husband, she's been off the road since the announcement. She did not appear recently on the 25th anniversary of Raw, or she did, in a short cameo that featured the women of Raw's past. The Miz and Maurice's chronicles in becoming parents will be documented in the upcoming reality series Miz and Mrs. The show is set to air on the USA Network at some point in 2018. And of course, ourselves from the kick out would like to send our congratulations to the proud new parents.
Congratulations, it's awesome. So a baby Miz. So
a baby Miz.
Maroon Miz.
Baby Miz.
No, it's awesome. I'm delighted for them. It'll be interesting to see how they got along with it, like, because we've seen, like, through the Total Divas show of how, like, the wrestlers have dealt with pregnancy. Like, we saw Brie Bella, like I saw that, like, it was difficult but nice to watch, if you like.
Yeah.
But like, it'll be interesting to see how they get along as well. Like, so
I say Miz might take a back seat in the schedule now for a little while.
Understandably.
Yeah, just for like the first couple of months.
That could wave into our WrestleMania predictions a bit, I reckon.
It could. We'll see. That's next week, though, Dave.
Next week. Well, in the meantime, we'll move on. Some really intriguing news concerning Southpaw Regional Wrestling, probably one of the one of the best gems from last year, certainly, or when it was re-released by WWE. The hit digital TV series from WWE, Southpaw Regional Wrestling, took home top honours for comedy series, more than 5 minutes, at the Synosis Short Form Video Festival and Conference. The series also placed third at Brand Content/Content Marketing at Sports. The Synosis Short Form Video Festival and Conference recognised outstanding work in short form video showcasing storytelling across multiple platforms. You know, that's the thing, and I'm delighted it's got its praise, because it's too funny.
Oh, it's so good.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
And I wish there was more stuff like that, like, nowadays, but I think it's more offensive because of the WWE stars doing this, like, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. I'd love to see some more of that for sure.
It has to happen.
But, maybe, hopefully, they're working on some more. You can only pray.
We'll have to see what happens anyway.
Yeah.
But we'll move on in the meantime. Some really weird news from Lucha Underground this week.
Yeah, Lucha Underground recently applied to trademark Octagon with the United States Patent and Trademark Office, so that it would appear to be a new character coming for the upcoming season. It is unknown whether the trademark relates to the original AAA star Octagon, or whether it's for a new character in season 4.
Now, straight away, where's the UFC stand with this? Because I thought they trademarked Octagon ages ago. I'm shocked they haven't. If that's the case, or all of a sudden, like, it's like that. Like, that's the first thing that comes to my mind straight away.
I'm guessing not. Well, to be fair, when I first read the story, when they said Octagon, I thought maybe they were actually going to make an Octagon ring like they did in TNA, and I was like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. That's just asking for trouble.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. We'll see. I don't know a lot about the AA Star Octagon, the original one, so I can't really give an opinion on it.
Well, they're certainly trying to break a page out of Matt Hardy's book, I think, by doing that.
Yeah.
By trying to trademark something like that, so that way they can rightfully use what they want for it. Like, so it's clever, but I'm surprised that it's so easy. Almost, considering UFC's used for years and years and years. So
yeah, but didn't they? It must have been. No, it was season 4. They only recently were finished recording season 4. Because they do it like in a batch of like a week or something like that, I think they do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of like how NXT do it. They do it like in a day. I think...
well, yeah, but like that's an entire season as opposed to... They probably have 3 tapings in the days NXT.
Yeah, so... But how many episodes? That's what I'm saying.
So
over
three episodes each time, so...
I think it's 4. They do a month's worth.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they do a month's worth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting enough. Anyway, we'll see. Interesting to see how that pans out anyway. But we'll finish off the news with a roundup from results from Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, who had their Time is a Flat Circle card. That's a brilliant name, by the way. Taking place last Saturday at the Globe Theatre in Los Angeles in a rare card outside of their usual home in Reseda, California. The results are as follows. Joey Janelle defeated Roy Horace. Brody King defeated Douglas James, Jake Atlas and Eli Everfly. Desmond Xavier and Xavier Waltz, aka Scarlett and Graves, defeated Bandido and Flamita. Will Ospreay defeated Adam Brooks. Jonah Rock defeated Jeff Cobb. Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Matt Riddle. And Keith Lee defeated Chuck Taylor to win the PWG World Championship. So it's an awesome show. And it's very, I saw a picture of when Keith Lee was entrance or during the match. It was like in this sort of theatre, and it's so weird seeing Pro Wrestling Ulster. It's like OTT and the Tivoli in the way. It's so weird seeing it outside of Reseda, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you'd think that, wouldn't you?
Sorry?
You'd think that would be weird outside of Reseda, wouldn't it?
Be. I thought it looked quite nice. I thought it was a nice polished look that they had.
I know, yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, no, it's great. No, I'm not saying it's I'm not discouraging it like that. It's just like it's you're almost so used to, like, it's I compare it to OTT with Tivoli here, like, you know, which obviously they're going to be back on today.
Yeah,
but it's like, wow, this is what they look like in a different venue. It's class, isn't it?
So that's like, yeah. So when they went to Homecoming, then
essentially,
yeah,
or National
it was
Stadium.
different. It's a change. Obviously, the changes are different, but you know they'll get used to it.
Imagine the hardcore fans were like, well, this is nice, but it's not Reseda. Like, you know, look around, it's suspicion. So,
yeah, I guess there was some. I guess there'd be some hardcore fans thinking like, yeah, you're not like the old place. The old place was better. No, just get over it. Exactly. Change happened.
Exactly.
And it was nice. Like I said, it's a nice polished look. But I guess for the hardcore fans that are like, oh, I just want I just want my wrestling to be in the little sports gym hall, and that's the way it's always been. I want to keep it like that.
To be fair, though, they're a promotion that's so progressive and so popular that it's only a matter of time.
Exactly. Why wouldn't you move somewhere else to get more bums in seats?
Yeah, because they're world famous, like, you know, like, because they attract such a fan base and such a type of indie wrestler. Like, they're like, it's only a matter of time. So
exactly.
So it's awesome. So fair play to them. Anyway, that's our news. We will turn with our results of the week, starting with New Japan Pro Wrestling's Strong Style Evolved.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.
We're back here on the Kick Out, your weekly pro wrestling guide. Now let's continue on our show now with our Feel better now after your coffee?
I got my coffee.
I don't know how rude it is to sip.
Actually, I didn't. I couldn't find the coffee, so I went for tea.
Feel better?
I do. Actually.
Good.
I do. I put about 2 sugars in it, so my energy levels have gone through the roof.
You're going to need it, because we're going to get into our results of the week.
Oh my God! What the hell is going on? Oh my God!
So New Japan Pro Wrestling's Strong Style Evolved, only their second show in the United States, in the Walter Pyramid in Long Beach, California. Fantastic show. And what was really class about this show is that, like, it's not like a regular house show like that New Japan did. It's actually, it follows on a lot of what some of their storylines, and instigates a lot of what's going to be happening to Kura Genesis this weekend.
Exactly. Yeah.
So played very well in that case with all the matches. So
for sure. I think that's great for the fans, especially that went to see it as well. It's not just a run-of-the-mill house show that is like trying to show off that, yeah, we're New Japan, this is what we look like.
Yeah. They're doing that, but they're also playing.
It is doing that, but they're playing into storylines as well.
Yeah.
It's not, say, for example, like a WWE house show in Dublin. You know, WWE Live in Dublin, it has no real effect on the storylines. It's just matches that you'll probably see all the time. So that's a really big plus that they're actually putting a lot into their American shows as well, and especially with the.
Well, it goes to show you how it seems like they're definitely trying to bring out as much as they can, or try to bring out more to the US fan base, which is great. Which by and large presents more to everywhere else beyond, like more Western like fan base, if you like, in their case. So it's awesome. So we'll get into the matches anyway. Roppongi 3K and Rocky Romero took on Soul Cal Uncensored, the team of Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky. Now, I think, I'm not sure if you've seen this, but when I think Kazarian might have hurt his knee during a spot in this match.
Yeah, he did. It looked like he was struggling for a lot of the match. Fair play to him, he kept going throughout the whole time, but he definitely did something to his knee. He definitely hurt.
I think he was trying to go for a springboard kick, and his knee landed awkwardly or something like that.
I think it gave out. All right. I think it was actually more down to. It was more down to, I think someone was meant to do like a chop block on the knee, a chop block I should say on the knee, but they actually made too good of a connection with it and actually did sort of take his knee out a little bit. Oh really?
Oh, that's the worst type of ones you can get then. If it's like a move like that where it's supposed to take out the knee and actually does, or it's not, it's supposed to but it's not supposed to but it did.
Yeah, exactly.
To put
the move was exactly right, but it just it was too right.
I love the breakdown of the matches anyway, and when 3K was sent to the floor, Sky dived in them. A really good Meltzer, the best Meltzer ever gets it to. That's what they call their version of the Meltzer driver, I think, on the outside. It ended when Yo hit a planta on the floor. Yo hit Germans on Sky, then double team Sky to get a cover for 2, but then the backstabber and dropkick follows, and the 3K finished Scorpio Sky for the match. So it was a really good opener. One thing I want to say about this, and it goes towards a lot of the rest of the matches here, I thought the camera work missed a lot of spots, I found. Yeah. Like, it was different when watching it live. But
there was a bit of criticism, alright. Not just for the camera work, but also for the commentary team. I was kind of surprised that, well, I know why Jim Ross and Josh Barnett were doing it, because it was in America and Access TV had the rights to
that's
it.
the thing, yeah.
But I kind of would have preferred Don Callis to Kevin Kelly.
Well, they're arguably the best commentary team in the world right now. Like, you know, especially when you consider the roles that they do. Here's Kevin Kelly, who's a brilliant play-by-play man. Here's Don Callis, who plays such a perfect heel. Says he, actually says, like, oh, I'm gunning now tomorrow weekend. He'll make it before his match because they go way back. I love that sort of stuff. So you're right, like, and they're in attendance, and you think, well, why would you? Even though Jim Ross and Josh Barnett are probably contractually obliged, if that's to do Access TV, they could have easily done it for that show as well. But you know, and the Chris is
the fact that like the whole time Jim Ross was pronouncing Marty Scurll's name wrong.
Yeah,
Marty Scurll. What was it? Marty Scurll. That's what I think he was saying.
You get the
whole time.
You get the impression though, and I mean it's with the greatest respect to JR, because he's obviously like one of the best commentators of all time. Like, unless it's WWE he works for, like
I feel like he doesn't put as much preparation in as he used to.
Like, I know, I'm not saying that. Like, I'm not saying he deserves to do that. Like, I don't think anyone deserves to do that.
But while he was with WWE during his heyday, he was the head of talent relations as well, so he had this relationship and rapport with the wrestlers anyway. Yeah. So he knew how to commentate about them. You know what I mean?
I wonder though if he ever commented an indie match and if he'd be any good to get feedback from. Because I notice a lot of wrestlers go to commentators for that. Yeah. So, like, imagine a lot of wrestlers like an OTT would go to Ango or Don or even now, what's his name again?
Tony Riley. I think
exactly.
it was,
They go to them for feedback. Like, where I'm not sure. I'm not saying JR would be inapproachable, but I'm saying he'd be way more approachable in WWE.
Yeah. Did you hear the mess up?
What?
By JR and Josh Barnett after the Rapogi and Rapogi 3K and the.
I didn't hear it in full, but I'm not sure I did, but what exactly did they say?
After the match, so you noticed after the end of every match, they went to an ad break, and they came back from the ad break, and the guys were still in the ring. Yeah. I'm scared of the ring. Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and he says, oh, it was good, but they got to get the F out of the ring. You know? I think it was Josh Barnett saying that. He's like, I agree with you, JR, but you need to get the F out of the ring.
Silly. Moving on, David Finlay and Juice Robinson took on Hiroki Goto and Gedo. Can I ask you, do you know why Juice Robinson is not very well received in the United States? He seems to get booed.
I'm not too sure. Could have been for his NXT run.
Is that why?
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't really into.
I just know
watching NXT when Juice was in it.
It's the opposite when he's in Japan. He's beloved over there, but like in Juice Robinson, he seems to have that Roman, the sense of Roman from him. You know what I mean?
I'm not too sure why. I can't put my finger on it because I don't see why he would be criticised in any way.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Well, as opposed to Hiroki Goto, who got a huge reception. Yeah. So, but no, it was a very good match. Like when Gato and Juice Robinson were eye jabbing each other. In the end, though, it was Gedo who. It was Juice Robinson who dropped Gedo with a left, followed by a planter on Gedo, and then Finlay used the stunner for the win in that match. Good match. Again. It was the I felt the shooting of the match was could have been way better, obviously. Like, you know, which like, in all seriousness, like, that's an issue which they really shouldn't have. Like, would that be the company's fault, or is that the TV network's fault? That's the thing.
I think it could be the TV's director's fault. It's his decision.
Certainly if you compare the camera work they do in Japan, which is as good as anywhere.
Yeah, I think Access had their own team there.
Maybe. Yeah. That's a problem in itself, you could argue as well. So,
well, look, if you look at it in this way, it's something to learn from.
Indeed. Moving on, Toru Yano and Chucky T took on the Killer Elite Squad. How over was Toru Yano in this match?
So over.
I'd love him to come. Of all the wrestlers in the world, he's definitely a wish list for OTT down the line. Like, you know, obviously not anytime soon, but like down the line.
I'd love to see him try and take off every single turnbuckle cover. But the one, like, I know I gave JR and Josh Barnett some criticism, but the props I have to give for him was after Yano came out. And he just gives it out and says, "Does nobody drink water anymore? Everybody's spitting it out," because Lance Archer did it beforehand where he got into the crowd and he was spitting the water out at everybody, which, by the way, brilliant.
This match is sponsored by Volvic.
It should have been like Deep River Rock. It's the water you wear. Literally, you're wearing it right now because you spit it out with
the water you spit.
And then, of course, Yano spit his water out straight away as well. That was a nice start obviously.
But especially the chemistry, like or the matchup between Archer and Yano as well, like the water spitters, if you like, where like where Archer wasn't setting his strikes and they're grabbing each other's hair, like it's stuff like that. That's proper comedy wrestling, like. And that's what Toriano is. He's so good at that, and it's very rare you find it in Japan. Certainly in New Japan. I don't know what the indies are like over there, but like I imagine
it's definitely a surprising tag team though that we saw there. Chucky T and Toriano.
They're both from Chaos, so like it's no, that's as good as any tag team you'd have, or at least a comedy tag team.
It's just for me, I found it very surprising. I didn't think those two would have been together.
In the end, it was Chucky who missed the moonsault. Archer hit the pounce. The chokeslam gets 2, but as Chucky got a crucifix for 2. The Killer Bomb counters. Chucky ran wild, but got cut off. Killer Bomb finished him off. Awesome match. And it kept the run for Killer Elite Squad, like, you know.
Calling out Evil and Sonata as well.
Yes. So, it wouldn't surprise me if they. They're not going to be challenging at Secure Genesis because Evil's still injured, but.
Well, no, because on the road to Secure Genesis, we just sent the news report. That's where he's going to be.
Yeah, but
he's going to be back.
But the tag title match wasn't announced. That's why.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean.
Still could be after the road to show. We could see something.
Every chance.
Yeah.
The Bullet Club Civil War continued with this match. In this next match, Cody Rhodes and Marty Scurll took on the Gorillas of Destiny. You know, Cody. We talked about Toriano being as over as hell. Like Cody was under as hell. If I can use that.
Yeah.
Like no, he got the worst reaction everywhere. Like so. And that he's probably one of the top heels in wrestling right now when you think about it, because you just love to hate him. He's breaking up the Bullet Club.
Exactly.
And that's for me was what a perfect heel is. A perfect heel is the one you want to hate so much. And so when you look what he did with Omega and all the stuff he does on the Being the Elite stuff, you just
exactly. He's playing it so well at the moment.
Yeah.
And like this is probably the sort of freedom that he creative freedom that he's probably begging for in WWE, but they would never give it to him.
Yeah.
But look what happens when you just let Cody take the ball and run with it.
Yeah, exactly.
This is just fantastic stuff from him.
He was claiming he didn't want this match to happen at all, saying that everyone's friends, and praised Tama Tonga in particular for being a Bullet Club OG. Speaking of which, we'll get to that on Raw later on. And complimenting the Gorillas of Destiny for being 3-time tag champions and how they made the Bullet Club cool and made superstars, and then until superstars like him made it popular. Like as much as he put Tama Tonga and the Gorillas of Destiny over, he had to put himself over as well. But then Lowe just grabbed the mic and said Cody will not deny the fans the match, and they are not on Team Cody. Match went on from there. And it was a good match. But what I loved about this match in particular was Marty's reluctance at one stage. It was almost polar opposites of what we seen from this match and what we saw later at the match between Ospreay.
It was brilliant in the sense that obviously Cody put out his hand. He said no. They threw him outside the ring, and then Marty is jumping around with God saying yeah Cody Cody that's what you get, that's what you get. Then he gets thrown out of the ring, so hops on Cody like he's a baby. Like I'm sorry I don't know what got over me.
The match ended when Cody got back in. Tonga hits the drop kick, but then Cody runs them together. It hits the crossroads on Lower, and that's that for the win. But again, I love the heat that Cody's getting at the moment. Like it's it shows like everything. It's like he's really up there with the best heels at the moment. So
sure.
So it's definitely an interesting story going forward. Now, in a 8-man tag team match, Taguchi, Tanahashi, Dragon Lee, and Kushida took on Naito, Bushi, Sanada, and Takahashi from LIJ. It's very rare we see Naito in a full suit with cape. That means he's really serious about this.
Yeah, giving the American fans a little taste of full suited Naito.
That's a really serious Naito though. That's Wrestle Kingdom type Naito where he's in a suit with a cape. Never mind just a suit. A suit with a cape. So it's definitely, it was an interesting match. What I liked about this, or one highlight of this match I have to point out, was the continuing rivalry between Dragon Lee and Hiromu Takahashi, where they literally had a chop off of all chop ups. That was something else, wasn't
it? I actually skipped this match.
Why?
Because I was in a rush to watch it, and I was meant to watch it all day on Wednesday.
You missed so many.
But then obviously I scheduled to talk to Darren, and then I had to go out and play some 5-side, and time just got away from me, Dave. Okay,
you missed a match with a lot of good spots. Like you had a situation where I think all the guys from the team Taguchi had submissions on. So it was the Paradise Lock, I think at one stage, Taguchi had the ankle lock on Naito, Kushida had the hoverboard lock on Bushi, Tanahashi had the clover leaf on Sonata, and Lee and Takahashi sprawled as he always do in the back. So it's very rare to see spots like that. In the end, though, it was Lee gets suplexed into the buckles by Takahashi. Naito then hits a Destiny on Taguchi, and that's that. It was a fun match. Like, it's one of those 8-man tags where everyone gets their bit, everyone shows their bit, and it makes sense that LIJ win to the most part. Like, where it looks like now Bushi, Takahashi, and Naito could be heading now to title shots. Like, I imagine, like, whoever will win between Naito and whoever wins between Ospreay and Skrull, I should say, either Takahashi or Bushi will be in the mix for whoever's next, I imagine.
Yeah, or maybe both.
Maybe both. So we'll have to see what happens.
You saw the success of the last Fatal 4-Way. Why not have another?
Yeah, it went so well. Yeah, but that's it. It'll be interesting to see how Ospreay gets on against Skrull first. Speaking of which, Will Ospreay took on Jushin Liger. Now, originally it was supposed to be Rey Mysterio against Jushin Liger, but unfortunately due to Rey Mysterio's bicep injury, he couldn't take part. He was out before the match started, explaining what happened, why he's injured and why he couldn't compete, and said he promises he'll be back in New Japan to fight, and took a seat at ringside. Now, the match itself, like, when you consider all things, like, you know, it's hard to believe that Jushin Liger, he's 53 years old, compared to Will Ospreay's 24, I think, or 25, I'm not sure. But it's scary, like, the age difference, like, you know, and they were talking about it in commentary. I think Jushin Liger was 8 years, was an 8-year veteran at the same year Ospreay was born.
Yeah,
madness,
that's unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
So
25 years ago.
So arguably the greatest light junior heavyweight of all time against probably the best junior heavyweight at the moment.
Yeah,
like against each other. But some really good spots. Like, what I liked about this match, it seemed like a competitive match. It didn't seem like Ospreay was dominating the whole time. There was actually spots where it looked like Ospreay was in trouble. Like when Liger hit the brainbuster on the floor, for example. Like, you know, or the super brainbuster for 2, actually, where like it looked like he was almost frustrated that he was losing and stuff like that. So one of the spots I have to say, like when Ospreay teased the 619 in front of Ray.
Yes.
The crowd mumbled so much, and like, so you couldn't help but think, oh, was this going to happen? Could this happen?
I wish it did.
Imagine if it did. In the end, though, it was Ospreay who hit the running Chattel for a good near fall, but then Liger fired up. Ospreay countered the next one into a power bomb. Then Ospreay laid in some kicks, hit the Os Cutter, and put Liger away for that. Apparently, Ospreay, I don't know if you know this, is 4-0 against Liger.
Really?
He's never lost a match against him.
Oh, didn't know that.
There you go. Now, it was after the match where
I guess most of the matches they've had has been in the Best of Super Junior, so
they've definitely faced last year's Super Juniors, as far as I'm aware. I'm not 100% certain, but to my knowledge anyway. And after the matches where it got intriguing, Ospreay then praised Liger, saying like how he's done everything for everything he's done, but then he went on to say like he wants to make his own legacy and needs to beat legends, and he wants to take the title to a new level, and that's where he challenged Mysterio to a match in the future. And he says when Ray's better, he needs to fight him. Out comes Marty Scurll, umbrella and all, laying out Ospreay. Then Ray tried to make the save, but Marty ripped the mask off and put it on himself. Now, we're talking about polar opposites from the Good as a Destiny match. Here he is with the mask, which for me, I think is as disrespectful as it gets to do that to a luchador.
Exactly.
Especially Rey Mysterio, who's the most famous luchador of all time.
At least this was planned to happen, apart from obviously the famous Alberto Del Rio Kalisto one, where he was meant to try and take it off, but he ended up taking the whole thing off.
Oh no.
But yeah, it was interesting. I love the way the young lions that were there at ringside had to jump in straight away with a towel on Ray's face.
They always do. No,
yeah. They're always there, impeccable timing.
If you watched the Super Juniors, that happens a lot between Tiger Mask, Dragon Lee, and El Desperado, because they all had incidents where their masks were taken off. They jump in straight away, like t-shirts taken off on their face. Yeah. So, quick fact. So it sets up a lot of possible matches. Obviously, we know it's going to be Marty and Ospreay at Secure Genesis, but it's a
good thing to get some heat on Marty as well.
Yeah, could have
obviously because they obviously want him to be the heel in this feud with Ospreay, and he is getting over with his being the elite sort of stuff and everything like that. So this is a great way for him to get some heat going into the match with Ospreay.
Absolutely. Moving on, Kazuchika Okada and Tomohiro Ishii took on Minoru Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr. like the way it describes Suzuki and Sabre Jr., it's like here's Suzuki who's a bully as it is, but it's like now he's groomed a son in Sabre Jr.
It is kind of like that, isn't it?
It's like
actually?
Nelson and Nelson's son, basically.
Yeah.
Nelson and son against Okada and Ishii.
Yeah, you're so right about that. That's actually a brilliant call. It's his son. Aww, Suzuki has a son. Aww.
Here's the strange thing now that's come to my head.
Zack Sabre Suzuki.
No, wait. You know how Suzuki laughs off chops?
Yeah.
Instead of saying ha ha ha, he just goes ha ha.
Why?
It's instead of a ha 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 ha.
But why?
Never mind.
Alright then. Moving on.
I thought you understood. But anyway.
No, I don't understand.
But even when they were trying, there was even cases where they were working double submissions as well. When Okada argued with the ref, here's Ishii, who was trapped with, like, I think at one stage, a double Fujiwara armbar. Can you imagine that? One had an SCF, one had a crossface, or one had an ankle lock and one had a crossface, like, you know.
Yeah. Ishii's a big boy. He look after himself. He's fine.
Yeah, but it was mad match. Like, again, it's a really good match. Like, a lot of counters and stuff like that. Like, I love Zack Sabre Jr.'s. Like, I love how he's becoming way more aggressive now with his submissions. Like, you know, it's almost like the Neville effect. So when we saw Neville turn to a heel and how much of a difference it's put in his game, it's sort of the same with Sabre Jr.
Like, the sort of dose of reality that he's putting into wrestling as well. Have you heard some of his press conferences over the time in the New Japan Cup?
Yeah,
they were really good. Like the one that he did with, like, I think Ibushi, because he faced Ibushi in the semi-finals or something, did he, or something?
He faced, who did he face in the semi-finals?
Might have been Ibushi.
I think it was.
Yeah. He was saying, like, I'm fighting Ibushi. If you try any of that crazy, I'm substituting stuff, like smooth stalling off the top of the balcony.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna move. I'm not going to be like these other wrestlers that just stand there and wait to catch you. Yeah. I'm just going to move and then let you fall on the ground and then pin you there. 1, 2, 3.
The standoffs between Ishii and Suzuki in particular, they literally try to knock each other's head off.
Yeah,
scary stuff as well. In the end, though, it was Suzuki who choked out Okada while Zack locked in the orienting with Nepal Death submission as the ref waved it off for the win. So it was, again, a great match, and there's so, again, I like the spots from it as well. Like, I love the idea of Ishii and Suzuki now. I'd love to see that match for the IC title sometime.
Yeah,
that has to happen soon. Moving on now, Jay White took on Hangman Page for the IWGP US title. It was an excellent match.
That I don't know if it was planned or not, but that was the German, wasn't it, that he did on the apron?
Yeah,
Hangman missed the apron. Went straight to the floor.
No, he hit his shoulder off the canvas.
No, he actually missed it completely.
Yeah, it looked like it hit his shoulder from what I've seen.
Missed it completely.
I remember the one you're talking about though, where the German on the buckles for 2, like,
he flipped. Yeah,
literally killed him. Almost killed him with that.
I don't know if that was planned or not.
No, it was when Jay White hit an apron flatliner, but then killed Pay with an apron German. Like, it looked like it landed on the shoulder. Like, it didn't look like, from what I seen, he missed most of it.
Yeah, and
it probably was supposed to hit the back, but he landed enough of his shoulder just to get the impact away, so where he wasn't completely flipped and hit himself hard in the apron. So or from the floor. So I think he got enough from the shoulder, for at least from what I'm seeing anyway. So that's a spot right there, like, for that match. So. In a class match, like, there was a bit of a tribute from Eddie Guerrero at one stage with the rolling suplexes at some stage as well. We don't really. The thing is with Hangman Page, like, you know, I think he's very underrated as a wrestler when you think about it. Like, a lot of people only associate him lately, I feel, from his association with the Bullet Club. But when you actually see him in the ring and how classy he is,
yeah,
like some of the stuff he can
do.
he
is a fantastic wrestler. I think. The Bullet Club and the Being the Elite is helping shine a light on how good he actually is.
I think he's severely underrated still. Yeah. Like, even still, like, I think he's getting better now, and this match is a coming out match for him in that sense. Where like, they both worked very hard. I felt there was a few slightly awkward moments in the middle. I think remember that one time where I think Hangman Page tried to jump up and it looked like, okay, what are you doing? You're supposed to get up, and I think Jay White delayed it like twice or three times or something like that.
Yeah.
So. But then you have, like, who else can do a shooting star headbutts off the apron?
Well, there was one, but we don't talk about him anymore.
Oh, shooting star.
Or shooting
headbutts.
star. Sorry, no, sorry. Yeah, I think Hangman needs some sort of singles title now.
Well, this was it. Like, this is definitely putting him in the right road.
I think even like the TV title in Ring of Honor would have been perfect for him or something like that.
Is he? Is him and the Young Bucks still 6-man tag champs in Ring of Honor?
No, so Calvin Spencer there now.
Yes. So, well, he's it's only a matter of time. He's definitely, like, I wouldn't expect him to win this match straight away, but it's definitely an indication that down the line he could easily be holding his title down for sure. But in the end, it was the Blade Runner counter as Page spits in his face, followed by a super kick and roll on the elbow, and then right counters the rite of passage and hits the Blade Runner.
Great
for the
counter.
Win. Yeah, fantastic. Awesome match. Like, fair play to Page. Like, he was the MVP in this match in the sense of the bumps he took, like that German suplex in particular. But they worked hard in that match, and I feel though, like, do you feel for a semi-main event by New Japan standard it was a good enough match though? By a co-main event? Am I being too critical?
I see why it needed to be, because it was the US title. But no, I don't know. I still think there's a little more I want to see from Jay White. I don't know what it is. For being champion, I still want to see a lot more. It was a very slow-paced match, I thought it was, for a lot of it. There was some fantastic moves and stuff.
Of course.
Don't get me wrong. But I just thought that the match itself, for like you said, a co-main event, or sub-main event, semi-main event.
So you think it could be better for now, or at least maybe after his next defense, that he works maybe with someone more experienced, like similar to a Tanahashi?
I think so.
Because we weren't sure about the Tanahashi match as well. So that's why it's like, well, where's the balance?
So we'll have to see a couple of more matches, but it might just be the common factor is Jay White.
Maybe.
But which is weird, because
I'm not saying he's a bad wrestler.
No, not at all, because when he was over here in Dublin, he was fantastic.
Oh, he's brilliant.
And in his Ring of Honor matches, he was great as well. I don't know what. Has he changed his style since he became Switchblade?
Well, maybe he's trying to fit to his gimmick, like, that's the thing, so... Anyway, after the match then, David Finlay attacked him and said that they ain't done yet on April 24th, challenging him for the US Championship. And that's why he figured, and that's what made sense of how Finlay got the win earlier on, and when it was him and Hiroki Goto and Skato.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, because that could be an interesting match there straight away. So that could be a coming out match as well, because here he is wrestling someone who isn't as established, but someone who knows him at the back of his hand, as we talked about earlier on. So that easily could make a difference as well.
Yeah, this could be a very important match when it comes down to whether or not he'll have a long title reign.
Indeed.
So if this match doesn't click for someone that you know so well, they might have to make a change.
We'll see what happens. Now, the main event, the Golden Lovers versus the Young Bucks. I still can't believe you couldn't see this match, because this was...
I didn't have enough hours in the day.
This is one of the best matches this year. This is easily a match to your Kansas.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying I'm not going to watch it. I'm just going to. I'm just going to watch it, obviously.
It's a beautiful match for so many reasons. One, they sell everything. The whole injury with Matt at the moment with his back, he is on that. Like, he sold that beautifully. Like, it was ingenious how he sold it. Everything came together in terms of the spots, even like the communication between them at the start and everything. It was just brilliant. Like, here's Matt, who straight away wanted to get who wanted Omega straight away, and then tagged out like straight away. Like, it was too good. Like, where I think at one stage where like, there were so many really great spots, like, involving tables and everything. Particular ones is when I think they had the double triangle moonsault. Obviously, there was the when Okada cut off Nick, hit the Rana, and then Nick hits a backstabber on a Bushi straight away. Like, it's just stuff like that. And then the stuff involving the tables, where who German tabled who, I think it was Omega who grabbed Matt and teased the One Winged Angel through a table. Yeah. But Bushi then killed him out with an elevated German suplex. Now, can you imagine that on his bad back? Man, there's so many scary spots here as well. Where else was there? There was when Matt hit the V trigger and hit the last ride for 2. How he kicked out of that is beyond me. Like, because that was some sick move. That was. There was just so many good spots. Like there's so many to mention. Like, that's a strange thing. Assisted 450s, connected for 2. Omega was back in, looked for Woman Angel, but at super kicks, and Ibushi made the save. 30 minutes at that point. Yeah. Like, it was just madness. There was Ibushi cut off Nick and powerbombed him through the table at ringside out of nowhere, when the Bucks were looking for the Meltzer driver, he just noticed. I think Okada was hurting the table. Like, I'll just go for him instead. And then straight away powerbomb, gone like that. In the end, though, it was when Matt had no one to tag, and Okada. It ended beautifully as well because Okada hesitated to go after Nick, but Matt with a desperation super kick and cut him off. And then Okada finished off things with a running V-trigger, and Okada hesitated on the One Wing Angel, but then Nick encouraged him to hit it, and then Nick made the save. It's just stuff like that, where they said so much, no, you have to hurt me, you have to do this, like, you know. Yeah. In the end, it was the V-trigger, and Snapdragon followed. Okada dropped the knee pad, and the Golden Lovers hit the Golden Trigger to finally pick up the win. But it was just a beautifully told match. Like, Matt in particular has a chip on his shoulder against Okada. Like, I imagine, or at least how it's sold in the story.
Yeah, you mean Omega?
Yeah, Omega. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like all this reluctance for Okada to fight Nick, and Matt refusing Okada's help. Like when checking on him. Mm-hmm. Even little hints as well. Well, like we saw him being deleted at the weightlifting belts as well.
They did. That was only one of them did.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, they both wore it.
Matt did it. Matt was the only one that kept wearing it. Nick.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Like. Even stuff like that, small details like that. Man, it was such a good match. But in the end, though, it was. But the expectations for this match were high, and it not only delivered, it overcame. In my opinion, it's a must see.
Yeah, I will sit down and watch it. Don't worry, I will.
Post match, then, Cody arrives and yelled at Matt, and then showed down Nick. Ibushi and Omega then returned and ran off, but then Omega offered to shake hands. Nick was okay, and they hugged, but Matt bailed. So it certainly shows who's on whose side now, isn't it? Like, yeah. So, or going forwards. And then Omega made a promo saying that it's a sad world when friends have to fight, and in war there's casualties, and he wishes he could be happy. Mm-hmm. But he's sure that the Golden Lovers are back, and that's that. Like before promoting his match with Cody, and then the July 7th event coming up. So it's definitely interesting going ahead now. So yeah. And now we have Secure Genesis this week. Goes to show you there's so much wrestling coming up, isn't there?
So much.
Well, there's WrestleMania weekend next weekend. So not even that WrestleMania weekend. That's the go home next week. And we have how many shows to review next week? 4.
4, yeah.
Yeah. Genesis and 3 Irish shows. I thought last week's show was long.
Yeah. We're going to need a lot. And we have to do our WrestleMania predictions.
So you think you're tired now? Wait until that. And now we'll continue on our show now with the results of the week, and we'll continue on with WWE Raw.
Welcome to Monday Night Raw.
Straight into it. We're getting more of an indication now between the whole Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns thing now. Mm-hmm. With it was Heyman and Brock coming out now for saying, and here's Heyman saying, well, Reigns' suspension is over, but he is now here. How ironic is that?
Yeah, this was what I thought was going to happen.
Okay.
But it happened a week later than I thought was going to happen.
So you were expecting this next week?
I was expecting this last week.
Oh, last week?
Yeah, where Heyman comes out and says, oh, this guy is no use. He's not going to come out here. He's not going to dare come out to Brock. And there's Roman coming through the crowd.
Do.
Yeah. I get battered.
Again. Yeah. Like are they booking Brock? Does he feel like they're booking Brock too strong here? That makes sense.
I think they're trying to book Brock so strong that they gain sympathy for Roman,
which to a degree I feel is working. I think it is anyway. Like, you know,
it's all right. Like I'm past the stage of caring because like we all know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's not worth really fighting, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's amazing to think, like, we talked about our predictions, like, and how we have to do them. That's probably going to be one of the easiest ones to do.
Yeah.
Certainly for me, anyway. I don't know about yourself.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy. Well, for me, it's going to be.
Well, it's hard. It's hard. I think some of the crowd are still not completely sympathetic after Brock was laying down the chair shots on him. He still got a chance of one more time before Brock F5'd him on the stairs, leaving him lying after that. Well, anyway, Nia Jax took on Mickie James. It was basically Nia Jax tossing James around. The distraction then with Nia Jax distracting here and there, but in the end it was James on top and hit a Samoan drop. I loved the Samoan drop where she had her up in a gorilla press and then press her down. That's her best type of Samoan drop.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the one that she'd aim for doing all the time.
Yeah. It was basically then cat and mouse with Bliss before she was chased away. I find that match is intriguing enough. Like, it'd be interesting to see what can Alexa Bliss do to Nia Jax. Like, you know, especially when she's disangry.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot. Apart from running, maybe take out a body part beforehand.
Well, you know what? Sometimes those type of matches, well, it's different maybe for a WrestleMania match, but at the same time, it's an intriguing match in the sense of you don't have to, sometimes where a match would be cat and mouse for most of the time could still make a great match.
Yeah.
Like I heard reviews, for example. We can't do a review ourselves. We didn't see it, but apparently the match between Jay Money and Cowboy Jim West, Uprising West. I'm not sure if you heard about this.
No.
They must have taken 4 wrestling moves, and the rest was gimmick. But it was probably one of the best matches on the show.
Yeah, it's all how it's built.
Exactly.
And how the important thing of how it's going to be booked. Like, I think this Raw this coming week is going to be important.
Oh, it has to be.
I think they should try and organise some sort of attack on Nia where they hurt a body part, whether that be a knee, a leg, an ankle, whatever. That gives Alexa an opportunity then in the match at Mania
so
to
it looks
target.
more of an even match, yeah.
Exactly, and gives her a chance. Now, there is the rumour that during or after this match, Carmella's cashing in.
On Raw. Makes actually more sense on Raw than SmackDown.
It makes more sense for Raw, for her to do it on the Raw title than the SmackDown title.
At Mania?
At Mania.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. We'll have to see what happens. Triple H and Stephanie had a segment where they were basically praising Ronda's sounding, but then blamed Kurt Angle with the whole situation.
This video segment was brilliant. Loved it.
How they make the rules and they will show her who's boss. Stephanie then said Rousey should be afraid of her because this is her world, whereas Triple H says he's been beating Angle his whole career and saying this is business. They will beat Rousey, dust her off, humble her, and repackage her. And basically showing off how this isn't the UFC, this isn't the Olympics, this is our world. And Stephanie will simply work for her.
Yeah.
So
this is it's important. This is our world. We make the rules.
It's selling them as each other as the bosses. So
yeah,
being the douchebag bosses, if you like.
Exactly. They're trying to make sure that they make Triple H and Stephanie as hateable as possible, so that Rousey will get the biggest cheers when she comes out.
Indeed. They're trying their best to sell her.
Yep.
Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali took on TJ Perkins or TJP, I should say, against Andrew Gulak.
God.
It's a good match, perfectly solid match considering the time they got as well. Like, you know, it was a short match, but they worked their asses off to make it.
It's the first time in a while the Cruiserweights have actually featured on Raw as well.
Well, to be fair, they were running the tournament the whole time, so I think they needed the time to work, and especially if they're working with Triple H, I imagine, backstage, and he's booking the matches, maybe getting used to how they work and stuff like that, and maybe following on to Raw, so maybe it make more sense to keep him away for that.
Yeah, true.
But again, some really good some spots. And then when Alexander hit the springboard kick and lumbar check, when Ali hit a blind tag and hit the imploding or the 054 for the win off the blind tag and pick up the win. So it was nice. It was nice how they worked together, but it was also like a bit of a I'll finish from here. You're grand. So that sort of thing. Yeah. Miz TV featured both Balor and Rollins, and it looked very interesting at one stage because it looked like that Dallas and Axel felt they were being underappreciated by Rollins and just wants to be tanked, or at least what Rollins was trying to indicate as well. And then Rollins was saying that they're the reason that you're IC champion, and try to stir the pot, like similar to what Miz was trying to do with Rollins and Balor for the last few weeks. Yeah. Miz said that he'd be champion without him, whereas Dallas slyly said, well, Miz is a phony A-lister that can't fight. And then Balor arrived then with an OG BC shirt. I can't imagine what that means. Yeah. Then stirred the pot further by saying that Miz shoved Dallas and Axel tries to make peace. And then Miz saying that he's going to become the greatest IC champion of all time, better than Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, and Mr. Perfect, and that annoyed Curtis Axel for obvious reasons. That looked like they were going to cause problems, and looked like they were going to fight him, and Miz looked like break him off, but it was a trap. They attacked Rollins and Balor. Perfect trap, by the way, because he almost got sold, but almost at the same time he also thought, well, no way.
You kind of saw it coming, but it still was so still was done so well.
Well done, yeah. The Good Brothers saved them. Balor picked up the IC title, and then Rollins took it away from him. They had a face-off. Miz returned. They quickly got taken out, and then Balor laid down Rollins and stood tall.
Yeah.
So more hype for the triple threat match. It works. Asuka kills a jobber with a high kick. Not much to be said about that. Now here's one of the highlights for me the whole week. The whole Bayley and Sasha Banks thing finally has come to something now. Where they met backstage, and Bayley was announces she's entering the Women's Royal Rumble, and then they argue over the recent issues, and Banks said that she does what she wants and Bayley should do the same so people will stop thinking she's a loser. Bayley then responded by saying that Banks cannot be here, and led to a huge brawl where referees had to separate them. The only thing that confuses me about this match, it seems like there's a lot going into it.
Yeah.
Are they better off having a one-on-one match at Mania, or is this whole against the Women's Battle Royale?
I think there's so much happening at Mania. There's so many matches that a singles match between those two wouldn't get the time that they deserve to actually have a decent match.
Yeah, I agree.
I think saving it for maybe the pay-per-view
especially
after Mania,
and especially
work.
seeing the matches that they are capable of doing in the past, especially in NXT.
Exactly, we've seen those matches, so why ruin it by having a little tiny segment when they can actually go to the next pay-per-view afterwards and actually give it the time it deserves.
Yeah, so it would make more sense at Backlash in that sense, like, which is a shame because it would be a WrestleMania worthy match, but it's too much books now.
Saying that though, it could still not get the time it deserves because, as we know now, that the shows are both they're both dual branded shows.
Yeah, but this match is capable of being like a headline match, like considering the two.
It would never be a headline match though.
I disagree.
It won't be. I'm sorry, but it won't.
It's up there. It's definitely. It won't be lower mid card. That's for sure. That won't be the first match going.
Yeah,
could easily be. But anyway, Braun Strowman took on Sheamus. Sheamus had a promo on Braun saying he's figured him out because Braun surprised people, but at Mania there'll be no surprises. They want to know who his partner is, and Braun says he'll reveal at WrestleMania if Shayna beats him. Braun promises Sheamus they will get these hands and so on and so forth. It's like it was what it was. Cesaro looked to get involved, but Braun took him out and hits a corner splashing power slam for Sheamus on the win. What's what it was. Teased the tag team match. Then a promo on Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle, where Angle said that she's ready for Mania, and she sort of teased Stephanie with all her workout thing, like, you know, saying that Stephanie is trust fund tough and personal trainer tough.
They were good lines.
They were very good lines.
They were very good.
And
lines.
she'll get everything she deserves when she rips her arm off. And she makes a good point. I mean, here's Ronda Rousey, who has actually fought professionally.
Yeah.
And there's a huge difference between being tough enough to fight and tough enough to be able to lift a weight.
Yeah.
Or at least or be consistent with a personal trainer, like, you know. You know, so there's a huge difference, obviously. And then Absolution arrived. Saying that she's not really good at making friends, or saying that not having friends in WWE will hurt her.
Yeah.
And saying and recommended she need backup, and saying that she'll be committing career suicide by facing Stephanie. Rosie a few times thanked her for the offer but refused, and Paige then said it was a bad decision. Deville and Rose tried to attack her, but they took her both out. And she eventually took Rose down and tried to break her arm with the armbar before Rosie called her off. Now, one of the things, like, a lot of people criticise this whole six bit for being clumsy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it was a bit rough here and there, like, you know, and it looked like Rosie was a bit awkward. But I
didn't think it was too bad.
Do you think she's getting too much heat here, maybe?
I think they're expecting too much too soon.
Maybe.
I think they are. I think she was fine. It was alright. The judo flip at the end, going into the armbar,
perfect,
was crisp as you know what. But that was so quick. So quick. Look,
crisp is a mother effer.
Yeah. Why can't we curse on this show? Why?
Because we're a radio show on a certain time. We're not after the watersheds.
Damn you, shed of water. But yeah, so, look, I think what they're going to do is they're going to go through the match the week before Mania, like from next week on. They're going to go through every inch of that match and what Ronda has to do, and she's going to work on that all week.
Well, it'll be interesting,
and
because
I think by Sunday she'll be fine.
It'll be interesting because they'll be facing off next week, the two teams. So
Yeah.
the Good Brothers took on Axel and Dallas from the back of their altercation earlier on. It ended with the boot of doom connected, and Dallas made a save. It broke down. Anderson up top hit the neck breaker. Magic Killer finished a good match. No sense of urgency, but it was what it was. Like, maybe it could be. I don't know. Would both of them be involved at all? Like at WrestleMania?
Andre joint battle royal.
Yeah, there's a few tag teams involved with that. With Elias going, or no, the Revival saying they'll be going to be involved in that. So I suppose it's something.
Yeah.
Elias took on Rhino. Before that, like, he promised the performance of a lifetime at Mania before burying Cleveland, saying how LeBron felt that way and he'll be leaving again. Mendes when Rhino missed an elbow drop, hit fire rights, then hit a clothesline, battered back, drift away. That was that. Then post match he did the same on Heath Slater. Simple as that. Now John Cena took on Kane in no disqualification match. They brawled right at the bell. They brought up to the tech area where Cena used chairs and a barricade to take control until Kane suplexed Cena into the barricades. Back in the ring then, interestingly, Cena sat up like Undertaker where battled back at the 5 moves of doom, slammed Kane's exposed turnbuckle, and then he's used the cutthroat before chokeslamming Kane for 2. So it's interesting all the moveset he's using. In the end it was Kane who looked for the chokeslam, countered Cena, and then he hit the AA through the table for the win there. Like, it was an interesting match. Like, you know, it was trying to sell maybe the idea of Cena against Taker.
Yeah, it was a match. It was a Raw match. You know, that had some extra bits in it, obviously with the no disqualification. It was alright. I like the fact that Cena was using the Taker mannerisms, like sitting up and obviously doing the cutthroat thing, trying the choke slam. You know, it's kind of like Cena's heel, maybe.
Oh, he definitely seems more heel.
Cena's a heel.
Cena is calling out the Undertaker like he is calling out like Homer Simpson shouting at an empty burrito stand. Where's my Undertaker? Where's my Undertaker? Or like a young child looking for an elephant outside a radio station, which he was promised.
Yes. Credit obviously goes to...
P.S. We do not encourage elephants for competitions on this radio station or this podcast.
Credit, by the way, goes to the Simpsons wrestling page. For those,
they've really come out of the shop this week.
Fantastic. If you don't follow them on Twitter, definitely follow them.
Absolutely. But anyway, Cena called out Taker again, calling him a coward, saying that, you know, like he says that the fan chants for him, but he doesn't arrive. Silence is not an answer. It's either a yes or no. He's fine with no, but wants an answer either way. He has 1 week left to do something, and if he does not do anything, he'll let him down, the fans down, and he'll prove that he only cares about himself, and he hopes to see him next week. Here's what it is.
Yeah.
I think it'll happen. It has to happen.
Has to. The only way, unless it does, my fancy booking comes through.
Fancy booking?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me.
Yeah. Well, of course I did. You don't tell me you weren't listening, Dave.
Of course I was listening.
You know, John Cena is going to team with Daniel Bryan.
Oh, yeah, you're already on the show. Yeah. Sorry, my coffee's wearing off now.
Oh, sorry.
Too much decaf. We'll move on to SmackDown.
Come on to the Rock Show, to the premier show, SmackDown.
Would you like a top up now, Dave?
No.
Would you like some more coffee? We can stop the recording right now. You can go and make your coffee.
Unlike you, I don't have to rely on coffee, so I think I'll be okay.
You have coffee more than I do. I think you are reliant on coffee.
No, but the point is, I'm not used. I think I'm not. I'm more used to it than where it doesn't help as an energy.
Look, see, the coffee's wearing off. You can't speak. You can't make words, Dave.
You're making me overthink.
Get more coffee. You can't think. You don't
Randy
have coffee
Orton
inside
and Bobby Roode took on Jinder Mahal and Rusev. Like, it was originally supposed to be Jinder Mahal and Sadil Singh, but he came out with a neck brace, and Rusev came out as a news partner to a huge pop.
Yeah.
Does it feel like WWE are almost forcing Rusev to be a heel?
Kind of. But he is acting face, though, when he talks. Some of his mannerisms, like when he was talking to Jinder backstage and everything, he was speaking like a face.
I've come up to the conclusion of why this is the case.
What?
I think WWE are tone deaf. And it makes perfect sense when you think about it.
Really?
Think about it.
Okay.
And I hate to acknowledge a man's weakness at his old age, especially Vince McMahon. But if he doesn't recognise the boos of Roman Reigns or John Cena, It makes sense why they're still being faces, right?
Yeah, I guess, but
I hate to,
like Rusev, of course, was originally meant to be in the Unreal Joint Battle Royal, but reports have said that because of the amount of merch he's selling at the moment, WWE decided to actually put him in the United States title.
He is in the match. It was announced on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I'm delighted for it. So, like, with Rude's fighting by taking control and knocking. I think the commentary called Rusev Rudolph at one stage. I don't know if you noticed that.
Rudolph?
Yeah.
No.
I just thought it was funny. Anyway, the
I didn't notice that at all.
Small little things you notice, I suppose.
Oh, okay.
Draping DDT followed, and Orton was fired up. He sets up the RKO, but Mahal shoves Orton and Rude into Orton.
Mm-hmm.
They argue again, RKO on Rude, and Rusev hits the Magic kick on Orton and picks up the win. No, and he wins the match, but gets to fall over the US champion.
Yeah.
So it's great. So they're actually seeing him win and possibly gone on to this match at Mania, which is going to happen now. Because after the match, Mahal and Singh celebrated and met with Rusev. And he wants Rusev to attend his victory party after Mania, but Rusev then said that he's going to go to Daniel Bryan and get himself in the match. Rusev Mania.
Rusev Mania!
Yeah, there's a t-shirt.
I would buy that t-shirt.
AJ and Nakamura met backstage. Styles met with Nakamura, and Nakamura asked if Styles has lost his confidence. Nakamura said that they want to meet each other at their best in Mania, and Nakamura wants him to be in his corner, which Styles agrees. Yeah. Becky Lynch took on Ruby Riott. They trade strikes until Lynch was fired up. Ruby hit a backside for 2. Lynch followed with clotheslines and the drop kick. Lynch up top, the Logan distracted her, and Ruby slammed, turns the buckles and covered her with her feet for the ropes for 2. Lynch then countered the riot kick, slammed Ruby, then Lynch got in the cradle for the win. So it's basically a more set up towards the women's battle royale. And Becky, we haven't actually seen her win in a while.
I know, right?
Yeah,
it was weird.
So it was nice.
It was weird seeing her win. Maybe this is the start of something that will continue at WrestleMania.
Maybe. Hope so. Daniel Bryan's segments then, where Bryan was talking about how he arrived to a great reaction. He loved being back in Pittsburgh. He said that he's here to do a job tonight, and he said that SmackDown is the land of opportunity, and therefore he will give Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn one more chance, but just one. Where at WrestleMania it'll be the two of them against himself and Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. He has said that Shane McMahon is hospitalized, but he will be ready to go, and if he said the rules or special stipulations for the match, where if Shane and Bryan win, Kevin and Sami will remain fired, but if Kevin and Sami win, they'll be reinstated to SmackDown. He also talked about his job to give talent opportunities, but he also talked about all the other jobs that he had as GM that he doesn't like paperwork, board meetings, dressing up in cardigans or blazers.
That's really put a spanner in the works, hasn't it?
What do you mean?
In terms of trying to predict how that match will go.
That's good. I much prefer if it's harder to predict.
I have an idea for it, but I'm going to keep my cards close to my chest for a prediction video.
It's close between us, so I don't blame you.
Yeah.
So, who's winning, by the way? Are you winning or am I winning? Because I think I might have edged you. I'm not sure from the last event.
I think you edged me in the last event, but I was a bit ahead from the previous ones. So I think you're only like 2 points behind.
Oh, only 2 points. It's getting close, man. Anyway, he said, long story short, he's sick of doing all that, and he's fought to come back and wrestle. And here's Kevin and Sami. He tried to take it away from him, and he's back to fight at WrestleMania. And he tried to avoid certain things due to his position of being a role model, but this is a Daniel Bryan who will fight for his dreams and be a man who will kick ass at WrestleMania. So it's a really awesome promo, really proper emotional promo, especially in the back of almost losing it all again, like from that powerbomb and the way he was attacked last week. On Twitter then, Sami accepted the challenge. Also, the commentary issued a statement on Shane later on that he was discharged from the hospital. Now, whether that's by real life or by storyline, I actually don't know for sure. Yeah. That's probably where I got mixed up. I only imagine it's by storyline. The New Day of Xavier Woods and Big E took on the Bludgeon Brothers. Rowan slammed Kofi and Big E, and Harper continued to attack Woods as Rowan rolled into Big E. And as Rowan was about to get the hammers, the Usos attacked, causing a disqualification. And it was basically an all-out brawl, and had Usos and New Day arguing, but it was basically just more build-up for that 6-man tag. It was eventually then made official later on. New Day, Usos and the Bludgeon Brothers for the Smack tag team titles. I'm really looking forward to that match, actually. Yeah. Dolph Ziggler took on Tyler Breeze. This was a match that happened. We'll call it.
Yeah. This all stemmed from an interview they did before SmackDown where Dolph was wearing Breeze Dango's t-shirt.
Oh, really?
I think it was something like that, and then they took offence to it or something like that. And
Wasn't okay.
I don't know. It's just silly.
Seems silly.
Like, a couple of months ago, Dolph Ziggler was the US champion and walked out. Now look what he's doing.
It's not improved.
Like, well done, pal. You signed a contract that says you can leave whenever you want.
Where's the improvement?
You can leave an arena, but how has that helped you? How?
How many more times do you have to win a title and then walk away with it, or walk away without it?
Exactly.
You'll probably win the US title after WrestleMania and walk away with that. The way things are going. But then again, you could win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
I think you just walk away in general.
You'd think he'd do so much better, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, Ziggler wins. We're only really getting too much in that match. Nakamura against Shelton Benjamin. Now, here's a bit of a fact for you. Did you know this isn't the first meeting between Shelton Benjamin and Shinsuke Nakamura?
Yeah, they fought each other for the Intercontinental title, didn't they, in New Japan?
They had a series of matches in 2013, 2014 over the IC title as part of the Chaos and Suzuki Gun War. Now, Benjamin was part of Suzuki Gun back in the day. And he also had a series of matches in the G1 as well. Nakamura is 3-1. That's the record they had in New Japan anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not the first time they faced each other.
But WWE wants you to believe there's no other wrestling companies outside of WWE.
Duh. They acknowledge them unless they're involved with them somehow, I suppose. Nakamura basically hit the knee strike off the ropes and the King Shasta to put him away. After the match, though, Nakamura then said to AJ, "Oh, I didn't need your help. I just simply want to see how you're going to lose at WrestleMania." Mind games. Yeah, and says that Nakamura's playing games by WrestleMania. He won't be playing games. This is a dream match for him and the fans, and they'll tear the house down. Yeah. AJ will walk in as a champion and will defeat Nakamura, and there'll be no question he is the best. Nakamura said that he will win because AJ is too emotional. Ooh. Do you agree with him?
I'm not going to tell you. Why would I tell you? Why would I give away one of the biggest predictions of the show?
I'm never asked you to predict the match. I only asked you, is AJ too emotional?
I think AJ's too into this dream match, yeah. Trying to protect it being a dream match. He's too into wanting to steal the show.
Yeah. So it makes sense in that. Anyway, after
which
that,
he probably will.
Yeah. Gable and Benjamin attacked Styles after, but Nakamura made a save, and then Nakamura teased the King Shasta, saying, "Need to face before patting him in the head." Now, if that's mind games, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it was good. It got a good reaction from the crowd too. Which is good.
Indeed, yeah. Now, 205 live. Tony Nese took on Mark Andrews. It was a pretty good match. It had Jake Maverick at ringside, pretty good action. It's intriguing. I think Mark Andrews is making an excellent addition so far to 205 live, because of his a different type of cruiserweight, and certainly in compared to Tony Nese, who's a mix of power and speed against all the luchador moves of an Andrews. It made for a very good match. In the end, it was Nese who looked for a power bomb, but Andrews countered and hit a double standing stomp. He then followed with a Slumdog Millionaire, head up top, and hit the Shooting Star Press for the win. After the match, Drew Gulak commented on facing Andrews next week, because I think Mark Andrews wanted the match against him after talking to Drake Maverick at ringside. Yeah. He questions why he's on 205 Live, and then made a statement that when he will beat him, he will claim he'd be the best submission specialist in WWE. If you step in, you will tap out. I'm liking it.
Yeah.
Now, Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali had a sit-down interview before their cruiserweight match at WrestleMania. It was basically saying how special WrestleMania is, but it was really the best part was when they had made their final lines, where Alexander said he will do everything, including stomping out Ali's heart, to do so. Ali said that's what he'll have to do as well before shaking hands. Good, simple, powerful statements. And the thing is, because of how well you've seen them in the tournaments, you feel emotionally invested with both of them. It's a match where whoever wins it is a win-win. Yeah,
I thought that Gulak and Cedric were nailed on for it, but the way that Mustafa Ali has just stole the show, I'd like to say.
Absolutely. The
last couple of weeks. It's just been so... he's always been talented, but he's backing it up now with promos as well. I'm all in for this match.
Should be interesting.
It's so unfortunate that it's more than likely going to be on the pre-show.
I can't be... we were just saying that last week. If Austin Aries and Neville, which is as good as a cruiserweight match you can get in the world, is a pre-show. First match, in fact, in a pre-show.
Just think of the other matches. You can't move any of the other matches to the pre-show. You'd like to, but they would never do it.
Well, we said the US title match last week, but with the addition of Rusev, there's not a chance of that now.
No, never going to happen. But good news that I did hear about WrestleMania.
Right.
Pyro's coming back.
Way.
Yeah.
For one night only.
Hooray for Pyro.
That's something that New Orleans
something anyway.
Commissioners allowed. Good job. Kalisto, TJP, Akira Tozawa and Buddy Murphy then had a fatal 4-way match with Drake Maverick hinting that the winner of this match could get the first title shot against the winner of WrestleMania.
He didn't hint.
He teased.
He just said yeah. Yeah. He said yeah. No, he said this is the winner of this will get the first crack at the Cruiserweight Champion.
Some really good spots in this match, though. Here's Kalisto and are attacking Tozawa while being trapped in Indian Deathlock, going back and forth and back and forth. What was really good as well, TJ Perkins had worked a double submission, a gory special, and a pendulum hold on both Kalisto and Tozawa. Mm-hmm. That was awesome as well. Yeah. Like some really good spots in this match. In the end, though, it was well. First of all, like there's still to continue a rivalry between Kalisto and Tozawa. Now we saw obviously a lot of that going back and forth between it was Tozawa and Akira Hideo Itami against Kalisto, Gamma Talik, and Lince Dorado. It looks like it's continuing now as they argue and it breaks down, and then TJP gets Murphy into knee bar. Murphy fights, but Kalisto and Tozawa pull TJP to the floor. Murphy hits a Torillo onto the pile back in. Murphy hits Murphy's Law is what he calls that pump angle Death Valley driver, and picks him up for the huge win. And so yeah, I'm all for Buddy Murphy because he's doing so well so far since he came in, isn't he? Yeah,
the move to 205 Live has gone exactly how I think everyone hoped it would.
Indeed.
And he's taking it over, and he's definitely getting the crowd on his side as well.
100%.
So I'm all for this so far.
Now, the Mixed Match Challenge. Now, Charlotte Flair, who wasn't on SmackDown either, had to go undergo minor dental surgery due to a mouth infection. Yeah. And therefore had to pull out of both SmackDown and the Mixed Match Challenge. Mm-hmm. Therefore, Becky Lynch, by a popular vote on Twitter, replaced...
a really, really popular vote. She won by a landslide as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Replaced Charlotte for this match. Just once off, so she isn't competing in the final match. It's just in this match. Isn't? No, it's going to be Charlotte coming in, which makes more sense.
Yeah,
like it was just a last minute thing, and they had no choice but to fill it. Mm-hmm. And it took on. So it was Bobby Roode and Becky Lynch who took on the second chancers of Finn Balor and Sasha Banks. Mm-hmm. Interesting matchup because we never see a Bobby Roode and Finn Balor before. Like that was an interesting intercation where it was the
glorious two sweet.
The glorious two sweets. Couldn't have put it better. As well as Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks, they haven't faced each other obviously at WrestleMania, but we haven't seen them in a one-on-one match. We haven't seen them one-on-one since NXT. You're right, yeah. So because they're both faces, so it was basically the two of them against Charlotte's when they went against each other at WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly. I would like to see more of this.
Absolutely.
Please, if it's possible. If you turn Sasha heel, like you seem to be. So, yeah, maybe.
Banks tagged in, hits the Meteora on Lynch, and then Roode kicks to the floor. She follows with a suicide dive. Balor hits the John Woo on the floor, which is that running drop kick. Yeah. But then Lynch rolls up Banks for the win out of nowhere. So it's just a quick roll up out of nowhere. Yeah. And that's that. The thing about this whole tournament, this was a fantastic match. It was probably one of the best matches of the whole tournament. Do you feel, and the final is next week now, it's between Miz and Asuka against Bobby Roode and Charlotte. Now, do you feel they're the two most compelling teams, the two most worthy teams in the final? Because I get this impression, well, what if it was Braun and Alexa?
Braun and Alexa stole the show.
Oh, 100%.
Definitely stole the show. But realistically, you can't. The way they had the brackets, you couldn't have Asuka lose.
I think maybe the surprise was Asuka and Braun, but I think if we look at
you mean Alexa and Braun?
Alexa Braun, excuse me. It'd be interesting as well because it's Miz against Bobby Roode, Intercontinental Champion against, then again, former US champion. I keep forgetting he's not US champion anymore. And Asuka and Charlotte's just before WrestleMania.
I know, before WrestleMania is definitely be interesting. It's to give fans that little taster of what to expect,
which is good.
Yeah.
And
I think they might keep each other apart for as much as the matches they can. Because they don't want to ruin everything before, it's a week before WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So
Now, we have a lot to bring up with NXT now. It's a very heavy NXT this week. First of all, have you seen all these tweets that Tommaso Ciampa sent about Johnny Gargano knocking on his door at 3 o'clock in the morning? Or 5 o'clock?
Video, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it. This takes, like, you know how feuds have been set up a different way in terms of the Being the Elite web series.
They're being deleting this.
Exactly. They're being the Elite-ing this. They're taking it to different platforms, which is working brilliantly, and I love it. I love the fact that when like the video of like Heavy Machinery were coming out and they see
it's all exclusive
Gargano,
videos.
Yeah, Gargano in the parking lot waiting for Ciampa, and then he goes after him and
don't do it, Johnny.
Ciampa then is like in his own home, and like it's like it adds a bit of reality into the storyline because
it's so personal.
Because it's so personal, and because
the booking
people,
is so
like fans, knew that these guys were friends beforehand, and they were at each other's wedding and stuff like that.
Best friends, yeah.
So they would obviously know where each other lived and everything. So it just makes everything just so right.
Yeah, it's spot on. So Tommaso Ciampa arrived and refused to talk to the media. He was yelling at Regal for allowing Gargano to basically do all this. Then Ciampa asked what's he got to do to get rid of him. So he books Gargano and Ciampa in an unsanctioned match at TakeOver New Orleans. If Gargano wins, he's back in NXT, but if Ciampa wins, then Gargano's gone forever.
Yeah.
Now, William Regal then made announcements then saying that NXT is growing and announced that the new NXT North American title will be introduced at TakeOver New Orleans. Ethan Carter III, or EC3 as he goes by NXT, made his TV debut, saying he's basking in the moment because he deserves it, and like gone about his new theme and his lucrative contract, and before saying to Regal, God, I didn't realise you were going to create a championship to award to me. And he said he's the best guy here, best guy there, and best guy everywhere. Yeah, how he's a verbal money printing machine. Before Regal stepped in and said, well, no one has handled everything in NXT, but knows EC3 is more than capable, and said that he's going to be one of 6 competitors in a ladder match for the North American title. And EC3 as confident as he gets, as confident as any wrestler as there is. Like, he's one of the most, like, if you know him from Impact Wrestling, which I don't, you'd probably know he's one of the most chatty wrestlers going. Like, so he says he'll live up to all as many opponents as he wants because he'll prove why he is the top 1%. Yeah, I like it. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing more of him now. I don't know much about him. You probably know way more, but no, you're the same.
TNA and me never mixed.
Well, in that case, it was Impact as opposed to TNA. I think there's a difference.
Both. Never mix. How about that?
Later on, though, Regal then added Adam Cole to the match before Velveteen Dream arriving once in the match, which Regal agreed. He then offered the place to Lars Sullivan, and then also mentioned Killian Dean. And then Catty Kelly met up with Regal later on, asking as he finalized the final opponent, which he was Ricochet. Now, there's 6 people for a match.
Yes, both Ricochet and EC3 making their debut.
Indeed.
In the ladder match as well. And it's so we were talking off air, and you said it's so good to actually have NXT have the ladder match this year.
Yeah, it's like it's a privilege compared to where they usually have it on WrestleMania. Now it's here on things. So
I'm fully in support of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. I think these 6 guys are gonna, I would say, steal the show, but I still think Ciampa and Gargano match will probably surpass it. Solely just for the storyline alone and the passion in the match, but this match couldn't be a close second. Shayna
Baszler and Ember Moon fought at a bit of a brawl in the Performance Center during a TM61 promo where they were teasing a change of attitude after failing the Dusty Classic. The Street Profits and AOP then took on each other in the Dusty Classic semi-final. A very short match, actually, where Ford was very fired up, dancing at ringside before offering his drink to Paul Ellering, who threw it away. This distracted Ford, allowing AOP to hit the final chapter on Angelo Hawkins out of nowhere. So it was much shorter than expected. It's largely like, it was almost like they made Street Profits look too silly, like, you know, considering how they were booked before.
I kind of hope they put up a better fight, or at least booked them a little better. This was kind of a jobber sort of situation. Wasn't it?
Lars Sullivan destroyed Dennis Seaver. He was down as Power Slam, Flying Headbutt, Freak Accents. John Seaver was 27, and then Andrade Almas then attacked Aleister Black viciously, but like it was supposed to be Dakota Kai who had a match, but then the cameras caught backstage of Almas attacking Black, basically kicking the holy bejesus out of him, almost drowning him in the cooler of water before taking him to the ring, beating him down with a chair, and basically talking crap down to him. So So it's an interesting turn of events. And it'll be interesting to see how Black responds to this now going into next week. So,
it's definitely hyping her up a little more.
Definitely. Then there's the other semi-final Dusty Classic, Sanity against of Eric Young and Alexander Wolf against the unusual team of Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne.
Yeah,
they're working so well together as well.
Yeah, kind of like the odd couple, aren't they?
Well, they're very similar, I find, in style. Not in terms of they're very good technical wrestlers, but they're not. They had a rivalry and it turned into a tag team.
Mm-hmm.
So there's respect there. You get the impression, though, especially us knowing Pete Dunne from his OTT days, he could just go any minute to turn his back when it gets too tough.
Exactly. Well, not even when it gets too tough. I think whenever he feels like he's done with this, like, I'm done being in this tag team. Like, so you're done. I'm gone.
Dunne took out Wolf, and then Strong hits the end of Heartache.
Done is done.
Done is done. Strong hit the end of Heartache, and Dunne was tagged in. And then they hit a double team version of the Bitter End for the win. Mm-hmm. So it was interesting rivalry going ahead, Nick. And then now the finals will be next week. The Offers of Pain against Strong and Dunne. We'll also see Killian Dean take on Lars Sullivan 1-on-1.
Yes, well, that'll be. They're just going to destroy that, aren't they? They're going to destroy the ring. They're going to destroy the arena. They're going to destroy everything.
Everything.
Including themselves.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. One of them won't make the ladder match. Or will they?
You're hinting, are you?
No, I'm not hinting anything. I don't know.
Let's go for a break quickly before we ruin anything else. When we return, we will come back and hear back from our interview we had with Darren Kearney.
In the future, roving bands of comic book podcasts will savage the wasteland, once known as the Internet. One podcast, the Grawlix Podcast, may not be the biggest, may not be the funniest, may not be the most well-spoken. Wait, what was my point again? Oh yes, the Grawlix Podcast. Listen to it at grawlixpodcast.com. That's GRAWLIX podcast.com.
We're back here on The Kickout, your weekly pro wrestling guides. Now, earlier on this week, Daragh had a chat with one of Ireland's top wrestling prospects, Darren Kearney. Let's have a listen back to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, my guest this week.
On the line, I'm delighted to be joined by one of the members of More Than Hype, Darren Kearney. Darren, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
Big fan of the show.
We always love to hear that. We always love to have our egos stroked every now and again. We actually been wanting to get you on the show for a little while. We've been talking about it. We couldn't just find the right date, and I think now, obviously, before the show on Friday, I think it's the perfect opportunity to hear about your brief but yet busy history when it comes to professional wrestling. Of course, because as we'll get into later on, you've spent a little time over in Canada too. But just tell me a little bit about, first of all, why you wanted to start training in professional wrestling.
I've always had an interest in wrestling since I can remember. Like, my brother was a huge wrestling fan, and that got me into it. So I've always been watching wrestling. Fun fact that the first words I ever spoke were actually The Rock. So wrestling's always been a part of my life.
Yeah.
And one day, I just wanted to go for it. I just said, why not? Mm-hmm. So I found myself in Fight Factory Pro Wrestling and just loved it. And I stuck around.
Yeah. Could be a silly question, but then who was your favourite wrestler growing up? Even though we probably already know the answer.
It actually wasn't The Rock.
No?
No. Probably, I always liked Brock Lesnar. He was my favourite growing up. Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle.
Oh, yes, yeah. The feuds they had, like around the, what it was called, the aggression era, that's what they called it then, wasn't it? And yeah, I always remember that their backstage segments were pretty good. When Brock actually would talk, he'd actually be pretty good with him and Angle seemed to have a great chemistry there, both in the ring and outside of it. And then obviously the WrestleMania match that they had sort of culminated and everything too. That's actually, it's really interesting because so when it comes to like obviously your style in the ring, you can be you can actually be a bit of a powerhouse. You're a bit technical as well. I think that's a bit down to obviously the Lance Storm training. But is that what you wanted to be when you were going through your training process? You wanted to sort of, is there anyone that you wanted to mimic? Was it Brock, or could it have been someone else?
I wanted to be an all-rounder, kind of like a Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Or a Lance Storm. He's an all-rounder as well, just kind of like that.
Yeah, so sort of just may not be like the biggest guy, but quite technical. You know your way around the ring, and you can sort of you can get out of sticky situations if you needed to.
Yeah, that's it.
Ah, excellent. So, how long was it you were training in Fight Factory before you finally had your first match?
I was training 5 months at the time, and we had a gym show coming up.
Yeah.
So they gave me the call up for that. That was a big moment for me, putting a tag match. Mm-hmm. Me and Dom Tuck.
Yeah. We obviously know we know Dom well from the show. Both him and yourself are starting now to get a lot of attention, not just in Fight Factory, but with OTT, especially on the Contender shows too. So, like, tell me a little bit about your mindset there for your first match. Like, so were you nervous? Were you excited? Tell me the range of emotions.
It was excitement and nerves. Like, I felt like I've been working so hard for these 5 months that I'm finally getting my opportunity, and that I need to prove to my trainers, my peers, that I'm capable. Because it is, like, it's tough putting somebody out for their first show with so little experience. Yeah. But with the outcome, I was delighted with it.
Yeah, and tell me, who were you in the tag team against?
It was me and Dom Tuck versus the Enterprise, Luke Cullen and Liam Royal.
Okay, so all four guys are quite new to it. Obviously, the guys from the Enterprise, obviously they have a little more experience as well. Because I remember spending a bit of time down in Bray before training with. I think it was with yourself, and it was with some of the lads as well. And as you could, like, I could tell straight away that, like, all you guys are almost ready anyway at that stage. Now, was that before or after your first match?
I think it was a little bit after.
It was a little bit after. Oh, okay. So you kind of had the first match under your belt, and sort of was it kind of just like, now you've had a taste of it, and now you have to keep going back and getting more? It's kind of like it's kind of like an addiction, you'd say. Yeah. Excellent. So then obviously you continued some matches. Now, obviously we know anyone that watches wrestling, injuries are part and parcel of the game. And you obviously are no different than anyone. And you've had obviously had an incident in the ring. I think it was one of the first Contender shows, wasn't it, that you took part in?
Yeah.
And unfortunately that you came out with an injury. Could you tell me a little bit about what happened there?
Well, the first Contenders was like such a big opportunity. Mm-hmm. I was in the main event. Yeah. And the reaction I got from that was insane. Mm-hmm. So I thought coming into Contenders 2 that I had to top that. Yeah. And I went for something that I shouldn't have. I went for a dive to the outside. Yeah. I hadn't got much practice with that. Mm-hmm. I undershot it. Hit the rope and came down on the apron. On my eyebrow. Blood everywhere. Mm-hmm. Had to get rushed to the hospital. It was a terrible mistake. Yeah. It was like the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I remember in the back, like, Claire the medic came straight up to me, and like Jordan Devlin and Paul Tracy were helping me out, and it was crazy. Mm-hmm. I remember I looked up at Paul Tracy almost crying. I was like, is this me done in OTT? Like, I made such a mistake. Yeah.
I say for sure that was definitely a scary moment, especially when it happened in the heat of the moment. Like you were saying, you're in the emergency room. You're not sure what's going on, but obviously, thankfully, you were okay. It was just a few scratches and a few stitches in the end, and everything healed up fine. And then, of course, you were back in the ring. Then, fast forward to September last year, where you make the decision to go over to Canada to train under Lance Storm. Tell me a little bit how Canada went.
Canada was brilliant. It was a crazy experience. Like just going there for 3 months on my own, like so young, like, mm-hmm. straight out of school. But it was so worth it. The training was brilliant. Lance Storm is he's just the best.
Yeah.
The people there are incredible. I miss Canada so much. I wish I was back there. Brilliant.
I remember you telling me one of the nights of training that you told me about the breakdown of it. He only does this once a year where he actually takes in, I think, what was it, about 20, 30 people, and he trains them for 3 months straight?
Yeah, it's a 3-month class where 20 people sign up. 20 people never last.
Yeah. They never last. So how many was left then by the end of your one?
I think we had 4 dropouts, and then 2 people were injured and just sitting out.
Oh, okay.
So the class was pretty small by the end of it.
Yeah. So what was it like? Training every single day, and it was just sort of on your downtime, maybe just watching maybe tape and trying to improve with that.
Yeah, it was I think it was 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, so Monday to Friday.
Okay. And would it be all levels, or would you have had to have some sort of experience before going in?
It was actually a complete beginner's class. Some people in the class never stepped foot in a ring before, were in no good physical condition.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Lance knew some people more experienced, so he'd be a bit more picky on a few people.
Yeah. And you had shows as part of it as well. I remember you telling me you actually had a show with about, what was it, 5 people or something that was there?
Oh, that was the worst show ever. 7 people, and they're all students from the school. It was so embarrassing.
How many shows did you end up taking part in over there?
I worked 4 shows over there. I worked 2 for Real Canadian Wrestling and 2 for the Prairie Wrestling Alliance.
Oh, excellent. And what is there anything in particular that you picked up there that you know is going to stand you in good stead for the rest of your career?
With the training?
Yes, training, or even the shows as well, or even the experience of living in Canada and living as a professional wrestler.
I think the training just polished me. I know what to do now. I know how to structure a match better. I know not to go too crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Just calming myself down.
Excellent. And that's probably the thing when it comes to not being sort of experienced in the ring as well. If you don't have a lot of matches under your belt, where you might not know, or you might maybe not be able to react in the right way if something goes wrong in the ring, say for example. Yeah. And that's one thing that I noticed at the last Contender show, the one after Patrick's Day, just last week, yes. That in the tag match with yourself and Nathan against Curtis and Eddie. That yes, Michael. Sorry, why was I saying Eddie? Eddie Stone. Why was I thinking of Eddie Stone? Doesn't matter, because you're having a Twitter beef with him at the moment. That's what it is.
Oh, Eddie Stone.
So yeah, you and Michael and Curtis. Sorry. That. 1 or 2 things obviously didn't work out as planned, but you guys got on it straight away, you got on top of it and made sure that you just kept going forward with the match and didn't let it affect you, which I thought was really, really not just surprising, but really fantastic to see from 4 young wrestlers in particular. Yeah,
thanks. It's just the whole thing calming down. We don't need to do exactly what's planned. We can improvise. If something goes wrong, we can just get on top of it. Make sure things aren't too noticeable. Yeah.
Now, tell me one thing, right? Because we obviously saw it with the LJ match at the at Contenders 2. Where did Bray come from?
Bray's just a thing for the boys. More than life. You don't need to know.
I'd like to know, because it seems to be the most over thing in Irish wrestling right now.
I don't know how. I really don't know how. We just did it for a mess. It's a little group thing.
Yeah.
You'll see it down on Fife actually being done a lot.
I loved seeing it. I love seeing the whole crowd get involved with it as well for LJ's match, and also for your match as well. But I can't wait to see it now this Friday as well, because it'll be my first time actually seeing it in person. I haven't seen Blade done in the flesh, so I don't know. It might get the best of me. I might have to get involved as well. But speaking of Friday, of course, the Fight Factory show. Hold on, I'll get this right in one go. We only booked this on Good Friday because we thought people wouldn't drink and wouldn't have anything else to do. Of course, this Friday, 30th of March, down in the Sean Casey Centre in East Wall. Like I said, it's a fatal 4-way tag team match for the Fight Factory tag team titles. Yourself and Martin, of course, from More Than Hype, against the Super Nintendo Bros, Collar and Elbow, and Soldiers of Fortune, I believe, are coming over from, is it from America?
No, I think it's Belgium.
Belgium, sorry, no. AXX is from America. That's who it was. Sorry, I got it mixed up there. Yeah, a 3 stages of hell match. Stage 1, a fatal 4-way rules. Stage 2, a tables match. And stage 3, a no holds barred match. How excited are you looking for? How excited are you? Sorry, I should say, for this.
Oh, I cannot wait for this. A chance at those tag titles, that would mean so much, getting those, especially me and Nathan getting them. We've been through so much together. We've started wrestling together, and now to be champions together, that would be something insane.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's definitely an interesting match, and even myself just trying to think of how this is going to go. Have you been told anything about the rules of certain aspects of the match yet?
Just first round, just normal wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Second round, whoever gets put through a table, that team's eliminated. Third round, no rules.
So that's very interesting that you say about the second stage, that it's a tables match. So it only takes one person to go through a table. It doesn't have to be both members of the team.
Yeah, I believe so. It's just one member of the team.
Okay, so that's very interesting. So you'll always have to sort of keep an eye on your teammate whenever the match seems to go crazy, which they inevitably will, of course. This is a big show because obviously you've got new GM with Rick Nash as well, and it seems as though that the Fight Factory shows are definitely taking a step up and really getting popular as well with the fans.
Oh yeah, we're picking up big time. I think Fight Factory can't be ignored. I think we've got the best roster by far. We're just putting on these amazing wrestling shows. Mm-hmm. It's picking up so much.
Yeah, and it's really good to see now, and it kind of stems down not just from the name itself, but also the sort of teachers that they have there, because you have some great people there like Justy, Dean, Phil, Katie, some unbelievable, and I've seen you take some classes now as well, and it's a really good core group of people there teaching young wrestlers and sort of setting them up for a fantastic career.
Yeah. I can't forget about LJ and Michael May's coaches. They're my original coaches.
Oh, LJ and Michael,
they
of course.
They are two of the best.
Yeah.
They've taught me almost everything I know.
Yeah, and it's actually very interesting now that you mentioned Michael, because obviously from yourself spending time in Canada and Michael spending time in Japan, and LJ being there from the age of, I think, 14, isn't he? He's been training.
Yeah.
It's just, especially you three together, all different sort of experiences that you can mold together and sort of teach people that want to, and obviously teach yourselves too, because obviously you never stop learning. Yeah,
we're always learning.
Always learning, exactly. So, what sort of aspirations now do you have going forward, say for the rest of the year?
For the rest of the year, I've just been on OTT Contenders.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get on that main show.
Yeah,
I feel like my time's coming for it. These Irish tag team titles.
Yeah,
I want these as well.
Excellent. And in terms of OTT, are you aiming for maybe a stadium show, or are you aiming for Tivoli?
At the moment, Tivoli looks more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll always be aiming for a stadium show.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Well, look, Darren, it's been fantastic to talk to you. One more time just before I let you go, obviously, if people haven't gotten their ticket yet, episode 4 of Fight Factory shows. We only booked this on Good Friday because we thought people couldn't drink and wouldn't have anything else to do in the Sean Casey Centre in East Wall. Tickets are available on eventbrite.ie. They're only £10. You're going to see a fantastic tag team match involving Darren and 3 other teams as well. We've also got some other matches involved. 15-man over-the-top rope battle royal. Also got LJ Cleary, another member of the More Than Hype team, going up against AXX. Also, you got Be Cool and Sammy D as well. Some fantastic matches, and for the price that you're paying, it's a steal. Darren, thanks a lot for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to us, and best of luck on Friday.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
And that was the chat you had with Darren Kearney. Like, very insightful interview, like, you know, especially his time in Canada, as you mentioned to him.
Yeah, Darren's a great guy.
Very sound guy.
And it seems as though he's definitely learned a lot coming over from Canada, and it's good to listen to, and this is the same for all sort of up and coming wrestlers in Ireland, especially, that it's good to hear like the determination in their voice, and to hear about how much that they want to do well in this and how much they're putting into it.
Yeah.
And as we all saw, like last night at the show itself at Fight Factory,
Absolutely.
it was fantastic. And like, I just see big things for Darren.
Absolutely. He's all the potential in the world, that's for sure. Like, as many others do in Fight Factory, but like, it's this is awesome to see. But anyway, let's move on now. Let's continue on now with our previews of the week.
Why, look at what we have here, folks!
Obviously, tonight's OTT's Martinez Gaff Party 3 is taking place at the Tivoli Theatre today on March 31st. There's still tickets available on eventbrite.ie. Matches announced includes, now just announced during the week, Duncan Disorderly will take on Adam Brooks, the exciting Australian. Kingston North will take on the Angel Cruisers for the OTT Tag Team Title Eliminator. The winner will get a title shot at...
Did you see their promo?
I did. Now, it's very interesting about this, and we tweeted about this ourselves. There's that indication that, like, you know, like, we could have a breakup somewhere. Yeah.
Said it last week.
And there's been a lot of hints on Twitter about it. Now, I'm not one to speculate, especially about local events, but it's ironic as hell that Bonesaw likes this, our tweet. Do you know that? Do you notice that? I'm just saying. I'm not one to
I speculated last week. You did say we're not one to speculate, but we kind of are. It's what we do a lot on this show.
Yeah, but not for
local shows.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
But I'm still going to go with my original prediction. I still think it's going to be Corvin that goes.
It could be an argument between the three of them.
It could be the argument between the two, and then which causes Duncan to come out afterwards.
The three of them, and they have a match or something.
That's some of the predictions that were going around online as well today.
Could easily happen.
A triple threat at the stadium.
Why not?
Jordan, I don't want to see either team break up. I love both teams.
Oh, yeah, or like the final nail on the straw for Angel Cruisers then, or something. Like, who knows?
No, just stay. Everyone stay together, lads.
Yeah,
come on, just be friends.
Jordan Devon will take on Angelico in a non-title match. Scotty Davis will take on Mark Haskins. Chris Ridgway will take on El Fantasmo in NLW title tournament qualifier. And a fatal four-way for the OTT gender neutral title. New champion LJ Cleary will defend his title against the Session Matt Martina, TK Cooper, and Joey Janela. So awesome match there.
Also, if you still want to, if you're listening to this on Saturday or early Sunday, and you want to get hyped for the Defiant show later on Sunday, make sure you listen to my interview with Butch from last week, where we actually go through the Defiant and the Martinez Gaff Party show. So definitely have to listen to that if you haven't already.
Indeed. Defiant, which is happening this Sunday, April 1st in the Tivoli as well. Tickets are available on eventbrite.ie still. Match announced include OTT Women's Champion Session Martina will be defending her title in a fatal four-way against three opponents which all have qualifying match, or all come from qualifying matches of the following: Katie Harvey taking on her prodigy Valkyrie. That's a very intriguing match. You see the promo for their match actually in particular. Yeah, so it's I'm really enjoying. The
promos leading up to all these matches have been fantastic.
Debbie Cattell, Maven Creed's another one, like, because their rivalry is, I've said it before, like, their rivalry is the best rivalry in the country at the moment, in my opinion. And Nina Samuels will take on Sami Jane. Other matches include Dash Kosako to take on Jordane Grace, and Laura Di Matteo and Chris Wolf to take on Charlie Morgan and Charlie Evans in a tag team match. Now, also, next Sunday, on Sunday, April 8th, at the S13 in Belfast, will be PW live at the Compound. There's still tickets available on tickettailor.com. The only match announced so far still is Tim Steed and Lauren LaRue. It will take on Rocky Star and Katie Harvey. Phil Boyd's Team New School, JDP, Luther Valentine, Darren Kearney, Puento, CTB, the first Super Nintendo, and a few surprise debutants are all set to appear on that. Now, obviously, we mentioned the different options of how to watch WrestleMania on April 8th. Like, there's 3 options from what we can see, obviously. Obviously, the guys in Low Blows advertising themselves as the best WrestleMania party in the world. And considering what they have going, it's hard to argue. Happening at Buskers in the Ball in Temple Bar. There's still tickets available on eventbrite.ie. Free for Lobos Network subscribers, where they'll be showing a WrestleMania 34 in full. Pre-show entertainment including showing NXT TakeOver New Orleans in full. Their Low Blows Hall of Fame ceremony. Their inaugural Pool Mania. The performance from the Low Blows band. And the WWE themed team sets on among all the pre-entertainment for that. So that's like so much to look forward to there. Obviously, there's other options in Dublin as well, as we mentioned. Cheapy Productions are doing their WrestleMania showing at Pillar Bar in Westmoreland Street in Dublin. Tickets are €10 at the door, where they'll be showing WrestleMania in full with drink and food promos, full wrestling DJ set from DJ Road Dogg. And as we mentioned as well, this guys from CCW are also doing their showing of Cork with special appearances from Billy Bedlam and Raven Creed from Therapy. That will be taking place. Do you have a location for that, actually? Is that in the Cork City Centre?
Yeah, it is in a pub in, I can't remember the name, but I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names of pubs, especially in Cork, there, because I don't live there. Give me 2 seconds and I'll find it. You keep doing reviews there.
Well, in the meantime, the other review we have is on Sunday, April 15th, will be the start of the NLW tournament for OTT Contenders 8 at the Ringside Club in the National Stadium in Dublin. Yep. There's still tickets available on eventbrite.ie. Of course, the 4 NLW quarterfinals will take place. Scotty Davis will take on either El Fantasmo or on Chris Ridgway. Terry Thatcher to take on Eddie Stone. Doug Williams to take on Michael May, and Nathan Martin to take on Curtis Murray. Also, Team Tropicana will take on Anti-Fun Police. That should be a very intriguing match.
Yes.
And also El Ligaro and Jordan Devon are all set to appear.
Yeah. By the way, the free WrestleMania party for CCW is in the Macau Sporting Club in Cork.
Nice.
Not too sure where that is, but if you're from Cork, you probably would know the bar.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all their previews. Now let's finish off our show with our yes nos.
Yes, no! Yes, no! Yes, no!
Not too many to bring up, a good few, but we'll get to them now anyway. Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy to team up in the future.
It looks like it.
There's a huge rumours considering.
Reddy Hardy put up a very interesting Instagram post of a musical sheet. The title is Bray's Team.
Yeah.
So Broken Bray Wyatt?
Woken Bray Wyatt.
Woken Bray Wyatt.
It'd be interesting to see, alright.
Yeah. As long as it's not Sister Abigail, that's all I can.
Yeah. Like, I'll be for it. It'd be interesting to twist the things as well. But where will that leave Jeff Hardy then? That's the only thing.
They get what they want with Jeff Hardy for ages. Single star Jeff Hardy.
Yeah. El Generico to return. That's a long shot, I think.
No.
Considering his tweets, it got a lot of people excited, I suppose, during the week.
No. The only way that would happen would be like if you, like you said earlier on, if he teams with Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon can't make it. It's a whole Tyler Bate, Tyler Breeze situation all over again.
Dean Ambrose to return to Raw after WrestleMania.
No.
No? Is he still injured, or is his injury gone beyond that?
He was meant to be at some signing for WWE on WrestleMania weekend, but he was pulled from it.
No, the reason I bring it up is because maybe the reason he's pulled out of that is because of a possible return.
Yeah. I think the big return we'll see the night after WrestleMania would be Jeff Hardy.
I suppose, yeah. Big Kaz to return at the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Now, we haven't heard from Big Kaz since...
He is medically cleared, which is a good shout.
Yeah, we haven't heard from him since his rivalry with Enzo Amore, which obviously...
Him winning it is the big push that he probably need as well.
Which is a good call when you think about it.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio to be Braun Strowman's tag partner at WrestleMania.
I heard the
huge rumours
about
of this now.
Especially if he can get cleared. Like he wasn't, like we were talking about in the Strong Style Evolved show, his bicep injury stopped him from going against Liger. If he can get medically cleared, a big and little thing again. I had the thought that we've seen a certain someone put a lot of gym pics up recently with the tagline "I'm still here."
Who's that?
Big Show.
Well, that's as physically daunting as a team can get, really.
I know. You have Braun there, and then you have Big Show. And it gives Big Show his proper WrestleMania match in his last WrestleMania.
Yeah, could work.
So it could work.
Finally,
But I don't know how you'll ever take the tag team titles off them, though.
Good call, yeah. Finally, Daniel Bryan to step down as SmackDown GM.
Yes.
If he's going to continue on as a wrestler, and especially after that promo.
Exactly, yeah. Rumours are they're looking at CM Punk. Not CM Punk.
CM Punk. Can you imagine CM Punk?
Why did I say CM Punk? CM Punk would be class, though.
That'll never, ever
It would be
happen.
class. Why did I say CM Punk?
Good question.
CM Punk's on my mind.
Look, whatever. Anyway, go on. Who do you have in mind?
Hulk Hogan.
As a SmackDown GM? Oh.
He's been invited to the premiere of some WWE production as well.
Interesting.
As part of being WWE's guest.
I don't. I'd be very intrigued to see how that goes. Like,
who would you have, though?
Hulk Hogan's as good as call as any, but like, I don't know. Naturally, you get concerns if it's associated with the Impact, like, or if he's done something like that before.
Get Mick Foley back.
Been there, done that, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, but he's with Shane this time.
Maybe.
Instead of
In spite of Shane, maybe, yeah, or in spite of Stephanie.
Yeah.
Interesting. We'll have to. We can only speculate, I suppose. Could be.
Maybe what they could do is they could go for a female. Who's there?
Who is there?
I don't know.
I can't think. Trish Stratus.
Maybe they'll have like a computer doing it and call it the Fabulous Moolah.
Oh, for God's sake!
So you know I have to say it. Trish Stratus? No.
Yeah, a computer that says Snickers on it.
No, the computer that says Snickers is beside it.
That's awful. On that note,
no, come on. Let's think. Vicky, no, you won't get Vicky Guerrero back. I don't think
that's as close as
they won't do that again. I don't think so.
Ivory's getting inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
I can't think of anyone.
I can't think of anyone either. Maybe they won't go female. Maybe they'll go for a male.
Yeah, you never know. You just can't think of one right now. Simple as that.
Bring back Steve Austin. Steve Austin is GM. Oh, they were the days.
Those are the days.
They were the days.
On that reflection, that's all the time we have for this week on the Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guides, right here on 90.3 Near FM, on all good podcasting providers, and on the EMC Podcast Network. Make sure to check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/The Kickout Wrestling, on Twitter at The Kickout Live, on Instagram at The Kickout Wrestling, my Twitter at Dave Bandana, and Darza.
Mars Bar.
You can finally go to sleep now.
Yay.
No more coffee, no more staying up. And you look knackered, I can tell by looking at you.
This is a what? 15-hour day.
15-hour day. So get your sleep. You're going to need it for next week as well.
Oh, yeah. It's a long week ahead.
It's going to be a long week. Until next week, I've been Dave Cullen. He's been Daragh Maher.
I'm sorry. I know you're in the middle of saying goodbye, but I'm complaining so much, but this is the best time of the year.
You should be.
This is the best time of the wrestling year. And I'm complaining. I'm not going to complain.
You're complaining over...
I will live through being tired to enjoy this week.
Yeah, but you're tired for reasons other than wrestling. They're not wrestling related.
It's playing a factor, but it's not the main factor. But I can get through. I'm happy to get through it.
Come on.
I'm happy to do it.
We'll be back next week with all the latest developments from the world of pro wrestling, both here and abroad. And boy, we have a lot of them. But until next week, I've been Dave Cullen. He's been Daragh Maher. This has been The Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guides. Thank you so much for listening.